My best friend always ditches us for her boyfriends, so I refuse to attend her wedding.
Oh, yeah, ditch her
Yeah.
on the day that means the most.
Woo, that's gotta hurt. Well, just a heads up, English is not my first language, and this will probably have a lot of grammar errors. It's cool. A little background is needed, so here we go. I, 23 female, had 3 best friends in high school. We were in the same class during middle school and high school, so we stuck together after graduation. I'll name them Kelly, Nancy, and Ellie. The problem started when Ellie got her first boyfriend ever. By the way, this comes from that one writer on the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Oh, that means that this is one of our own, y'all. This is one of our own.
So treat them with some motherfucking respect.
Put some respect on their name.
That's right. Treat him so well, because this absolutely came from our community. She was always a good friend up until that point. She would be distant from the rest of us, even ghost us when we asked if she wanted to go out. Unfortunately, her parents didn't approve of the guy. Mind you, we were 13 at this point. So she broke up with him and returned to her old self. That was the first time that she had acted that way, but it wasn't the last. Every boyfriend she had was this cycle. Starts with dating, avoids us, breaks up, remembers that we exist, and so on. We always called her out on this behavior, and Ellie would promise not to ditch us again the next time, but she never changed until her long-term ex-boyfriend. They started dating a few months after me and my boyfriend, now husband.
Nice.
That guy, let's call him Jay, was good for her. It was good for her. My family knew him and liked him. His family went to the same church as hers, so he had the parents' approval. He's certified.
Big certified freak.
Oh, yeah, by the streets of God. And at this point, we were 17 years old. Ellie's the youngest. She was 16. Jay was a good guy who always encouraged her to go out with us or is making double/triple date plans. Kelly also had a boyfriend. But Ellie would just find a way to cancel last minute or just not show up. In 2020, Kelly and I had a childish fight and cut off from each other, but I kept in contact with Nancy and Ellie, more so Nancy though. After graduation, we all kind of moved on with our lives. I started working. Kelly had her baby, got pregnant our senior year. Whoa. And got married to the baby daddy. Nancy was also working a lot, and Ellie started a nursing program because she wanted to be a nurse.
So they're all the friends are just going their separate ways.
Going their separate ways.
But it sounds like Ellie, so my understanding of what's happening right now is Ellie is like the problem friend that every time she gets a boyfriend just is a flake. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yeah, and Nancy and Kelly, they're cool.
The Nancy and Kelly's cool,
but
they've all spread out post college.
Yeah, the other 3, including OP, are like, yo, Ellie, why you always abandon us? And she's like, don't worry. I'll be good.
To be fair, like I feel like that's common when people get significant others. They you want to spend some time with your hubby.
That's true. That's true. But the 3 of us would always find time for each other, at least one movie night every month. Then I got engaged and Ellie and Jay broke up. They were still seeing each other sometimes, but never actually got back together. I asked Nancy to be my maid of honor and Ellie to be a bridesmaid. When I asked her, I told her that she would be walking down the aisle with my cousin. She agreed with my terms that were the following. If they got back together, she would enter with my cousin. If she got another boyfriend, she would still enter with my cousin.
Okay. So basically, like, regardless what happens, you're paired with the cousin.
Yeah, I think she's afraid of her getting boyfriend fever and
then dipping out.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't know that walking down the aisle is necessary. It's more of like a symptom rather than the root, maybe.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, is she like, oh, if you get the boyfriend and walk with the boyfriend down the aisle, there'll be all these problems and all of these things where it's like.
But isn't she a bridesmaid?
She's a bridesmaid, yeah.
Well, but you're not going to walk the boyfriend down. The boyfriend isn't a groomsman.
That's true.
Oh, I think what she's
now I'm following.
Yeah. I think whenever they walk beside each other down.
Yeah. So because when
the bridesmaids go with the
yeah. So she's like, hey, if you get a boyfriend, you better not flake because this is an important position, and I want you walking down that aisle with my cousin.
That's a good point. The last time I was at a wedding, I hurt myself while using Heelys. So you can guess
Heelys.
What age I was? Yeah. I was using Heelys on the dance floor.
Bro, what do you mean? We got some Heelys. Didn't we get some Heelys like not too long ago?
Bro, they never sent me them.
You never got them?
I filled out the form.
No way.
They treated me like chopped freaking liver.
Dude, I got hella Heelys. I think I got 2 Heelys.
Yeah.
You probably got his Heelys.
Yeah,
Size 12.
it was crazy. They spelled my name John.
Yeah. Dude, what a weird misspelling. They must be Bulgarian or something. So Ellie agreed to this, even joked about going out with my cousin afterwards.
Yeah. You're going to enter with my cousin, and then my cousin's going to enter into you. Hey, yo.
Whoa. It happens. Fast forward to 5 months before my wedding, Ellie starts dating a new guy from her church.
Okay.
At first, he looks like a good guy, but Nancy and I started to notice the pattern again.
Uh-oh.
The avoidance.
Uh-oh.
The cancellation of plans.
No.
The random disappearance.
No. She's going into the boyfriend bubble.
Where is she?
Take her out.
She's gone.
Oh, she's a goner. She's a goner. Sometimes, you lose a lot of good men and women to the boyfriend bubble.
That's true. It's sucked many a person into a vortex.
They do be sucking. They do be sucking.
Whoa.
All the new toys that they have suck features, So everyone's getting a little suck these days.
That's not where I thought you were going. We called her out on it. I'm reading this right now from my own hand, my own yellow orange arms. Why did I say yellow? I don't know. But we called her out on it. Ellie said it was just a lot of pressure at church and the nursing program. Then she dropped the nursing program.
Okay.
She disappeared from her own school.
Oh, wow. She's
What?
bubbling.
She's committing to disappearing.
She is bubbling.
Oh my!
Wow.
She's going to end up on some milk cartons the way she's disappearing like this. So she said she couldn't be a nurse, even though she seemed so eager to be working on it just a few months prior. The thing about the plans we made as a group was she would never call or text anyone. She just didn't show up or pick up her phone when we called her. I got worried about my wedding. I had this bad feeling about Ellie. So I asked Nancy to pry a little, and she did. Ellie was really thinking that it was just because she had a new boyfriend, he would be a groomsman at my wedding with her.
Yeah, freaking right. We don't know this guy. This guy could suck, and not in the good way.
Whoa.
He could suck in a bad way.
Ooh.
And we don't want him here.
Is there a bad way to suck?
In what world does a boyfriend of a like a significant other of a groomsman or bridesmaid get automatically added to the wedding party? In what world?
He's from church.
The groom doesn't have any good friends,
Whoa. True.
and they hit it off instantaneously.
Yeah,
the first
that's
date
true.
they made.
That's true. In that case, that's the only case that I could see.
The people getting married gotta be saying that. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't even know him. She spent 2 hours begging me to change my plans, but at this point, my cousin had canceled a vacation just to be there for me.
Whew.
And nor me or my fiance knew this guy that she was dating. When I finally met him, he was super rude. Talked about how he didn't know my character or my plans when I paired his girlfriend with my cousin. I reminded him and her that she was single when she agreed to do it, even if a new guy got in the picture. At this point, I just wanted to get her out of the wedding party, but I didn't. I couldn't throw away 9 years of friendship like this. Apparently, she could. The last time I saw the guy was at my wedding a year ago. Now then, this year, Ellie just stopped talking to us, even Kelly. I even joked that it would be easier Kelly and I talk again and resolve things between us before Ellie realized that her boyfriend didn't like us. Her phone is always on his pocket. He knows when we're calling and just doesn't tell her. Whoa. He became the reason that she didn't show up now. He would take her out
Whoa.
and purposely hold her until it was too late to go out with us.
Oh, so he's going hella controlling.
Yes.
Oh no. Honestly, like at this point, I'm like, do I ever want to make plans with this person? They're so flaky.
And she's done this, like, it's one thing to do it when they were like 13 when they met, right? This is 9 years later. Like,
yeah.
I guess
Big
they're
ick. Big
Very big ick.
22,
Big
but still.
ick.
Ooh. Dude, who let the freaking dogs out?
Dude,
Riley.
good job. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that was fantastic.
Then Kelly finds out that Ellie was engaged to this guy. Yeah. She told Nancy, who told me. And at this point, the snowball just kept growing.
This is so bad that her life's over. Her life is
Yeah.
over.
Ellie made up 1,000 excuses to explain why she hadn't told us about the engagement, why we wouldn't be bridesmaids. Then she started to give different motives to each of us. She told
they're not going to be bridesmaids at her wedding. Oh, what other friends does she have?
that's the question. This is like the core four. This is their
core. Core 4 is a great name.
You know, there's a little like Sisterhood of Traveling Pants type freaking vibes over here.
The core 4.
Sam loves this core 4
Core
concept.
4. I know that's cool. That's kind of cool. The core
Oh, dude.
4. Like, that's fun.
I'm so glad I could be
We
in
should-
service.
We should utilize this within our.
We can utilize. I mean,
Who's core 4?
we've said that before.
Oh,
You,
dude, you're on a
Riley,
roll.
Sophia.
You said the core 4 before?
Yeah, I've said the core 4 before, like more
More?
than.
Have you said that going through this door?
I
The
mean,
core 4 before?
I explored going through the corridor with more 4 before. You know. Yeah.
All right, that was great. That was great.
Yeah.
That tickled my brain in the best possible
Oh
way.
yeah. So back to this core 4. Okay. So she told Kelly that she wanted only people who likes the couple. Then proceeded to say that Nancy and I don't like the groom, asking only Kelly would strain the dynamics of the trio. Then she came to my house. Ellie said to me that they only wanted married couples. Nancy is single, who had been married for a long time. I had been married for 7 months at that point. When I mentioned Kelly, she said, "Oh, you know how the relationship started. That's not an example of a marriage that we want."
Whoa.
That's not a nice thing to say.
Whoa.
I recorded parts of this conversation, got Kelly's number, and told her everything in a group call with Nancy, and we basically decided to not attend the wedding.
Oh, baby.
All that, and we think that we wouldn't even be invited if Kelly didn't find out about the engagement. To top it all off, Ellie's fiance convinced her to change everything she picked for the wedding and basically copied mine. The wedding happened a few weeks ago, one day before my wedding anniversary. One day.
Do you think I don't know if they did that on purpose.
It is possible it's a coincidence. It is possible. It is.
Yeah, I
One
mean,
day
like-
before their wedding would be completely
Yeah, that would
obvious.
be on purpose. But wedding
Yeah.
anniversary, I don't know if that's like
Could be an accident. But this guy also still sucks a lot. And
big.
not in the good way.
Sucks big time.
Big suck.
Big suck.
Yep, they booked their wedding a day before mine, quote unquote. My father said that the only reason they didn't book the same date was because they wanted a Sunday wedding and my anniversary fell on a Monday. By the way, if there's a day that falls on a day that ends with Y, you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and listen to OK Storytime because we have new episodes every day. And if you just press play, 47 days of straight content, allegedly.
104.
Someone chat commented and said it was 47. We don't really know the truth, to be honest.
No.
Yep, they did the math.
Okay, but we are imminently approaching the end of the story. I think that we should just cut Ellie off. I mean, is that fair?
I mean,
Ellie
yeah,
sucks.
I feel like she's kind of.
Go
I mean,
look
it
on
sucks because she's. I mean, it seems like she's going into this hole of freaking despair.
That's
but,
true. That's a good point. Good point.
You know, I think you kind of gotta let people live their life.
That's true.
Hey.
That's true.
Oh.
Ooh. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, let's get into this last part. So when I told my husband all about this, he said that maybe she is being manipulated and really wanted us to be there, but no one forced her to say the things she said at my house alone and away from the fiance. She wanted to talk crap about Kelly, thinking that I would agree, that I would never tell her because we were on bad terms. I know we were right for not going. She did this to our friendship, but I guess I'm mourning the friendship now and having second thoughts about the whole situation. This girl used to say my mother was her mother too. I was the one who came crying. She came crying to when she realized that Jay would break up with her. She was the only one of us who never had a fight with the others. Now she has lost all of us at once. So, am I the a-hole for not going to her wedding? Close this out, Sam. Yes or no?
No.
Agreed.
No. Cut her off.
Cut
She
her off.
doesn't deserve it. That's crazy.
That's it.
But hey, we've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed our time with you.
It's been a good time.
It's been a good time.
That's right.
My friends made my birthday feel unimportant for years. It might be time to cut them off.
Nah, just cut out your birthday. It's not that important.
Yeah, okay. Your birthday doesn't matter. This is a throwaway because I haven't made up my mind and don't want this linked back to me. This might get quite long. Sorry in advance. It's actually quite short. Some background
Sweet
info.
flow.
Some background info. In school, around age 14, I became part of a big friendship group of girls. I was the last to join the group, so was an outsider from the get-go.
What is that called?
An outsider.
No.
A pariah.
No.
An outcast.
Oh my gosh. I'm almost there. Shh. The flower wall.
Wallflower.
Yes.
I was never part of the OG friends around 5 of the girls, but grew the closest to one of them in the circle. With big friendship groups, you'll be closer to some people more than others. I know this and never resent not being in the circle. I was just so happy they were my friends. By the way, this comes from throwaway 1289-5467 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So with so many of us in the group, we decided that instead of us all getting small individual presents, we would instead pool all our money together to buy someone a big present for their birthday.
Oh, wow. That is something my friends did for me, and I am so
That's
grateful.
true. We did do that for your birthday.
And I give them back gifts.
Oh. This tradition has lived on until this day. I was given presents for 2 of my birthdays, the same as everyone else, before finishing school. When I was 16, my dad passed away. To make a long story short, roughly half a year after this, I was basically fully supporting myself, living away from my mom and siblings while doing my A-levels. This was a very stressful time for me, and while trying to balance working and all STEM subjects as well as keeping in touch with my family, I know I wasn't able to be as involved with my friends as I would have liked. I would try to attend as many of the outings as I possibly could, but I couldn't afford to drop hundreds of pounds on gigs, festivals, even 30 pounds on eating out.
Wow.
Or it would mean I would struggle to survive for the next week.
It's hard being friends and going out.
It is, because I mean, sometimes, you know, you have friends who can only hang out by doing, like, paying for something. Like, that's the only way they can hang out. And you're like, I don't have the money for that.
I can't do that.
No, it's, especially in college when I didn't have money. I was like, guys, what if we cooked at home?
What if we
had a
watched
game
the
night?
movie?
what do you think about that? And that usually worked. My friends all had 2 parents who had good jobs to depend upon, and I only had my mom who worked a minimum wage job and had my siblings to worry about. I'm pretty sure during this time I was never asked to put money towards buying a present for anybody. My memory of this time isn't great since I blocked a lot of things out. And from the ages of around 17 to 19, I'm reasonably positive I never received a present or put towards a present for anyone else. But I always made sure to wish everyone a happy birthday. From around 19, my situation didn't change much. Only now I was back living with my mom and siblings. I should probably mention I was still working a lot and lived around an hour by car from all the girls. Around this time, my mental health got a lot better and I was communicating with the girls much more frequently. However, I was still unable to attend most of the hangouts since I couldn't drive, had little money, and public transport was impossible since girls didn't want to meet in the middle.
See, I saw 2 things there.
Yeah.
I distanced myself from the girls. My mental health got better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the thing is here, just based on circumstance, OP was going through, you know, financial stuff and mental health stuff and just couldn't contribute to gifts, couldn't hang out with them a lot. And unfortunately, sometimes that is the way that life goes and you just kind of lose those friendships.
Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, not like right now, at least, unless we learn something crazy, it's not really anyone's fault. I think that's just kind of how sometimes it goes, you know, when you have to distance yourself based off of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I agree.
Like, yeah. Like, for sure, they could have made more of an effort, but like sometimes when you're the only friend out of a big friend group that can't do anything, it's like, oh, well. A year or so after that, after taking a gap year to work full time, I was finally able to get my driving license and pay for a car and insurance. Then I started uni. With uni, I have a lot more time and opportunities to hang out with everyone and attend every meetup I possibly can. Now on to if I would be the a-hole. Around 1 to 2 weeks before someone's birthday, we would make a group chat to discuss what we were going to get someone. I have been added and even sometimes created the group chat to discuss this for each person in the group. I am the second oldest in the group, with my closest friend Lily being the eldest. The year before last year, I was added to a group chat to discuss getting Lily a present. Since I was now in a better situation, I gathered that was why I was being included again. When my birthday came around, however, I never received a present from the group.
Oh, that's not freaking gosh. These are mean girls. These are girls that only like go up the hierarchy, popular ladder chain of whatever. What the heck? What the heckity heck? What?
I think they're just like, they no longer feel that close to OP, I guess.
But still,
which is still, it's still like messed up to not, you know, to expect her to give you guys a gift and then not do anything in return.
Freaking crazy.
Originally, I thought maybe the girls were just including me in getting Lily a gift because they knew I was closest to Lily. However, for everyone else in the group, I was also added to a chat to put money towards buying a present for them. Yeah, that is where it gets like they are actively, doing something wrong here. This year that just went, the same thing happened again. Everyone else in the group received a present and I am the only one who didn't. I just want to make it known it's not the fact that I didn't get an expensive present that has me upset. It's the idea that no one must have cared enough to remember that my birthday was coming up so they could create a chat and get me something. They could give me a 5-pound bouquet of flowers from Tesco and I would be so happy that they remembered. I'm pretty sure they only wished me happy birthday because Snapchat reminds them. But I'm just reminding you guys that we go live on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. And there is a little bit left.
Dude, cut these girls out.
Yeah.
Find new friends.
Yeah, sometimes people, because of life circumstances, you kind of drift apart. But the fact that they are still actively relying on you to spend money for people in the friend group and not providing anything to you, these are fake friends.
Piggy bank to them.
These are fake friends. It's, yeah.
Also, Mean Girls is a beautiful movie.
It's a good movie, yeah.
It's just beautiful how it just evolves. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
I love the musical too.
I haven't seen the musical. I've listened to some of the music, but
I snuck into the musical. I actually don't like musicals.
How?
I just snuck in.
Where?
The movie theaters.
Oh, the movie, the musical. I see.
I was like, I'll watch this, and I did.
Yeah. But there is more to the story.
Uh-oh.
It's also the fact that they all know that they haven't gotten me anything for the past 5 years, but still include me to buy presents for everyone else. That's ridiculous. After this happened 2 years consecutively, I went to get the opinion of another close friend outside of the group who said I shouldn't allow them to treat me like this and to cut them out of my life. But I don't know what to do. Would that be too drastic? Or am I allowing people to walk all over me? Am I being childish? I don't even know what I would say to them or how to even broach the subject without sounding stupid or entitled or breaking down in tears, which happens every time I think about the situation. So would I be the a-hole if I cut them out of my lives if they do this again this year? No. That is the end of that story. No. It's been going on, as Lulu says, for 5 years.
5 freaking years.
I think you guys you already lost that closeness, and they're still expecting you to shell out money.
Yeah.
So I think that you're not saving anything here. There's nothing to save here. Yeah, I definitely think you should cut them off.
This should have stopped 4 years ago.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if Lily is, getting her a gift, because OP said, we're the closest, but she hasn't mentioned whether or not Lily has gotten her a gift, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
But that is the end of that story.
I was planning my friend's wedding. Now I'm planning on cutting her out of my life.
Oh, snap your fingers in a Z formation.
I had a childhood friend since I was about 12, and we still remain friends up until recently. We have had a crazy history, ending our friendship 2 to 3 times over the course of 20 years.
Happens.
That's already a good track record.
It happens. What do you mean? It happens. Honestly, though, not even joking, if you are friends with somebody for 20 years, I'm sure there are periods where y'all don't like each other as much at certain times, right?
We share similar immature, dumb humor, and I think that's as deep as it gets. By the way, this comes from user Charlie85 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, we were frenemies most of high school. She sided with a person in school who I became a hate crime to. I was almost beat up in front of the entire school because of this single person. She's gotten into fights with some of my boyfriends in the past. A lot of our fights would be due to her booze, her overconsumption, and being terrible to me, leaving me in extremely unsafe situations and scenarios. Also, she could catch some spicy sleep. Her behavior over the years has been off and on, and it's toned down for the most part in our 30s. But I had my breaking point when it came to my wedding recently, and also her engagement. This sounds very...
Yeah, this doesn't
sound healthy at all.
This sounds like a great partnership.
This does not sound good.
I want to know how you become a hate crime.
I don't know.
I don't know if that was the right way to put that.
That's what they put down. That's what I read. That's what I get. That's what I'm here for. When I was 17, I moved away from our hometown, which she's a diehard lover of, and I can kind of see it for the dump that it is, and went on to a better my life in a more prominent city. Okay? I think high-key, she's always been envious. I had the balls to make that kind of move, and then I had made it again in the last 5 years to even a bigger place where my work has thrived on a very professional and successful level. I also met the man of my dreams here, and it's all been great. This friend didn't have a lot of experience with dating, just being very promiscuous.
promiscuous girl.
Thank you.
Wherever you are.
Thank you.
My city's better than yours, and my life is cool.
Thank you, Nelly Furtado. Didn't know you were right next to me. She stays in her bubble of friends where it's safe. During our lives, I've had some very traumatic things happen to me, abusive situations, etc., that I've always told her about, and she has never reciprocated things like that to me on a real level. She finally met someone amazing, and they got engaged within a few weeks of my engagement, and I was very happy for her. She asked me to be a bridesmaid, which I felt we were already sort of drifting apart at this point. Long-distance friendships are challenging, obviously, so I was a little shocked, but I said yes. She was having a very over-the-top wedding. She's an influencer, which is very much not my thing. And it was going to be extremely pricey due to the location in Manhattan, in New York City. She also decided to do a full home renovation at the same time, and of course, came into major financial issues. So they pushed the wedding a year later. I had let her know, due to the nature of mine and my partner's work, we work in entertainment, our schedules booked pretty heavy in advance, and that planning my wedding and also being in hers with the million events she had, it was too much for me to handle. So I said we would seriously start planning our wedding after hers was done. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm neurodivergent and can get overwhelmed extremely easily.
Yo, big facts.
Anyways, we were a bit annoyed by her pushing it a year, but we understood. Then she fell off the face of the planet and didn't really speak to me for about 5 months.
Oh, that's something you definitely want out of someone whose wedding you're planning.
Especially after you told them you plan things and you need to plan it far in advance and you know, like, oh, this is respectable communication. I one day noticed she wasn't wearing her engagement ring anymore on social media. Damn, you must like look at the finger and you're like, oh.
Wow,
Okay.
she's probably doing subliminals.
Subliminals. So I asked her, what's going on? Last we were planning was her bachelorette party for that summer, which I completely cleared my schedule for and was saving up to splurge on her events. She makes a joke like, oh, there's not going to be one anymore since we broke up.
Ooh, I mean, you might want to tell that person that immediately.
Maybe that's why it was the 5-month hiatus.
Maybe. Did they? I mean, they broke up 5 months ago. They didn't tell.
Maybe
OP?
she's like, yeah, well, let's find out. I do some digging, and she hasn't been wearing her ring for about 4 to 5
Oh
months.
my God.
Give me my points. She broke up with him and didn't even tell me. Someone in her wedding party. And also someone who told her I wasn't going to start planning ours until hers was done. It was bad timing, and with our industries, we couldn't just whip up a wedding into place with the break of this news, which I had to approach her for. When she told me I couldn't have any other reaction other than feeling terrible for her breakup, which she seemed to just shrug off like she was over it. I was dumbfounded by her response. As upset as I was for messing with my plans for the last 1.5 years, I couldn't make it about myself. Fast forward a year and a bit, we got married, and I chose not to invite her after what she did to me.
That's fair.
The built up from years of her selfishness and then not even telling me about her wedding was done, that was it for me. It also made me re-examine the friendship as a whole, and we just don't share any opinions, morally and ethically, or have much in common anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you guys had that in the first place.
Literally, the beginning of the story, you say, I guess we have the same dumb sense of humor, and that's about as deep as it goes.
That's not a friendship.
Yeah,
I mean, so do we, but that's
it's
about
deeper
it.
than that.
Yeah. Ooh. You can't see it, but that was good.
Almost, but you can imagine it.
She has used me for years, and I gave her free labor/work to help launch her side business, which is now very successful, and I stopped liking and engaging with her posts. She runs a reselling business boutique of items that are clearly purchased at Alibaba, and she's admitted it to me.
Your friend's got a drop shipping scheme. If people want to buy cheap crap from her at a marked up price, let her make her money.
Give me my money. And has really gotten heated about that after I told her how I just tried to distance myself from her, and I don't care about being performative online. Anyways, I tried to just distance myself and let the friendship fizzle out, but then when my wedding happened and people posted photos online, she threw a tantrum. She unfollowed me and got a bunch of her hometown friends to do the same. Good riddance. We're almost 40, by the way.
Yeah, double good riddance.
Double good riddance. I was gonna say, you don't have to put energy into this if you don't want to. So I reached out and sent a thought out message trying to not be offensive to her and just speaking how I felt and why I didn't invite her. She went on to say, I'm projecting and I always fight with people and I'm the common denominator because I've had a history of beefing with girls in our hometown as a teenager/adolescent. I came from a super dysfunctional abusive household and was scrappy.
Yeah, you gotta love somebody holding how you were basically 20 plus years ago.
And you wonder why OP left her hometown very early.
Sounds like she had a great reason to.
I've since gotten a lot of therapy over the years and removed myself from the toxic home situation/people/the town. That makes sense. She threw a lot of low blows about my past at me, and I guess she would since we do not connect on any deep level. But you know what, guys? You can connect with us on a deep level every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. You can do it live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch. Just tap our profile.
Heck, we might even be live right now. So go check on that right after this because we're going to collect our thoughts and then finish this story.
I mean, listen, there was no friendship to begin with here. It just seemed like it was like, oh, this is like cool. I guess we're in the same small town.
I don't know if you could say there was none because
the fact that
they've known each other for so long. I mean, it's gone up and down for sure.
I don't know.
It's been up and down. And it seems like.
Oh, I mean, okay, there was probably a friendship to begin with, but friendships do fizzle out and friendships end, and that's that. You can't.
Well, if they're not maintained, certainly.
And this was definitely not being maintained.
You don't just stay friends with somebody forever with no effort being put into the relationship.
Yeah, but
it's just not how it works.
It seems like they both really didn't want to put in any effort, to be honest. I mean, a little bit here and there, it seems like in like very distinct small parts that we didn't get from this, but it just seems like overall, were they really in each other's lives that much?
I guess it doesn't really feel
It doesn't
like it.
feel
They've
like
just,
it.
I think maybe just the 20 plus is that they've known each other for that long.
That's the one thing you guys got.
Just someone you've known
a
forever.
history, but
you know,
again,
it's the false, what is that? The sunk cost fallacy. It's like,
what it is.
This doesn't sound like a person you'd want to be friends with because, her engagement got split up and you didn't know about it for 4 to 5 months after it happened, that's already someone who's not that close with you.
Also, just the way that she's acting at this age about being super petty, where that shouldn't even be in your vocabulary. Yeah. It's just so like, oh, she didn't invite me to her wedding? Everyone unfollow her from the hometown that she doesn't care about. Like, who cares? OP is like, okay, I don't care.
Being petty is a timeless classic.
I'm not going back.
Being petty is like Legos, appropriate for ages 3 to 99.
Anyways, I just feel gross about all of this, and it just put me in a bad place mentally. I know I made the right decision, and when we were hashing it out, I stooped to her level and was very reactionary. I have another thought-out response to send her, but I'm wondering if I should just let it be and let her and those hometown mean girls just think what they want of me.
That you hit the nail on the head right there. Who cares what they think? You've got a whole life somewhere else. These people have no bearing on your
They're probably just jealous
health,
of
happiness,
you.
or general well-being.
Yeah, if they're just crap talking you, and you don't need that, especially if you're like already living a stressful life with your job. Hey, you just got married. You should be having a good time. People should be supporting you, not bringing you down.
Exactly.
And again, it looks like this friend didn't bring anything remotely like positive to your friendship or like to your life, to be honest. You're like, okay, like I guess this is just convenient to be friends.
What was her response? It was like, after she was like, you didn't tell me this for 4 months?
You're like, haha.
She was like, well, you're not allowed to be anything but sad and upset for me. It's like, okay, that's not how like human beings work.
You could have told me maybe like a month later, but I literally had to dig and ask you. I'm like, oh, wait, you're not wearing the ring. What's up?
Yeah. But that is the end of that story. I exposed my friend for cheating with a married man. Now her wedding's off.
Bye-bye. Dunzo. Gone.
I, 35 female, and my friend R, 31 female, we'll call her Rachel, have been close for about 4 years. I'm married and she's engaged. Rachel enjoys Spanish music, and my husband is a well-known salsa dancer in his scene.
Spicy.
Ooh,
Spicy.
We've taken her dancing a couple times, and the three of us have become pretty close. By the way, this comes from user Tomatillo OK 4633 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Recently, we all went to a salsa bar for my husband's friend's birthday party. Rachel's fiance couldn't make it as he was working. During the night, Rachel drank a whole jug of cocktails by herself and got pretty tipsy. This is where things got tricky. While I was on the dance floor with some girlfriends, my husband stood by our table. Rachel approached him, placed her hand on his chest, and started running it down while shaking her hips.
I'm on tonight.
Did a Shakira. She did a real quick Shakira.
Shakira.
My husband was visibly taken aback and took a small step backwards. She laughed and then walked away. I saw this happen, as did a few others, but I didn't think too much of it at first, since Rachel had also been dancing a bit provocatively with other men, including one of the band members, despite being engaged. After that incident, my husband felt uncomfortable and decided to leave the party early. He later told me how uneasy the situation made him, especially because he's known to be a conservative dancer who strictly follows social dance etiquette, meaning no inappropriate touching. We agree that I should have a conversation with Rachel to address the issue. When I reached out to her to meet in person, she kept postponing, so we eventually had a video call. During the conversation, I explained my husband's boundaries and reassured her that we knew she didn't mean any harm. We laughed it off, and she even offered to apologize, but I told her it wasn't necessary. We just wanted to set boundaries for future interactions. We ended the call on what I thought was a good note. However, 2 days later, she texted me saying she was hurt, that I would think she had other intentions. Then she dropped a bombshell. She uninvited both me and my husband from her wedding. Sounds like you don't want people who know about your habits to be at your wedding.
That's what I was going to say. She doesn't want her friends and fiance to find out.
Nobody with the inside scoop is allowed at the wedding.
Even though so many people witnessed it.
We were shocked. My husband and I have been there for Rachel and her fiance in many ways, from helping with the proposal to designing her wedding invites for free, and even vouching for her fiance's character in church so they could have a Catholic wedding. I tried calling Rachel to explain, but she ignored me, and her fiance followed suit. Since we have mutual friends, some of whom I'm closer to, I had no choice but to let them know I was uninvited. A few of them have now decided not to attend the wedding in solidarity. Here's where it gets more complicated. After our conversation, Rachel started hanging out at a bar with my husband's friends. Initially, we decided not to tell anyone about what happened because we thought she might just be stressed out due to the wedding. However, I always love a good however, she started telling them that I was very sensitive and insecure, which is why she decided not to have me at the wedding. She conveniently left out the part where she inappropriately touched my husband. Now, I feel guilty that she's losing friends at her wedding. However, I felt I had no other option but to explain why I was uninvited since she wouldn't communicate with me. Am I the a-hole here? I'm going to say no.
No.
Initial impression is
No.
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 But we have more story. I have an update. I had to tell one of my good friends, let's call her Freya. I told Freya what happened as she was invited to the wedding as well. She said she's not surprised by this behavior as Rachel has tried to be a little funny with her husband. Rachel and Freya's husband met at a birthday party, and she started teasing him in a playful manner. Her husband is a little quiet. She then added him on Instagram and tried chatting it up with him. He blocked her. She didn't want to let us all know because Rachel is someone who's very friendly and a social butterfly, so she felt maybe she was being a little conservative. But she said she didn't have a good gut feeling about Rachel. She and her husband rarely attend any events with Freya in it, and if she does, her husband refuses to be there to avoid any sort of drama. They have chose not to attend the wedding as well. And another update. So, looks like the momentum is starting to swing.
It looks like Rachel is just, she doesn't want to get married.
Update! The tea just keeps spilling. Firstly, I do want to thank everyone who left comments and advice, gave me some pretty good ideas that I almost executed, but your words gave me some peace and reassurance as I really felt like a horrible person when people started to boycott her wedding. So thank you for the kind words. There is an update. It's a little long, but bear with me. So I posted my story about a week ago, but to give you a timeline, the drama actually kicked off about a month ago. Fast forward to just a few days ago, and I get a text from Rachel's fiance at 1 a.m. Uh-oh. Yes, you read that right. 1 a.m. He's asking if my husband and I are awake because he has an emergency. Next thing I know, we're on a call. He starts asking us about a guy, let's call him D, who's a band member who frequently plays at the bar, and asked us for his number. My husband knows of him and has a mutual friend with D, but here's where it gets juicy. Turns out Rachel's fiance caught her lying about where she was one night. She'd been hanging out at D's house, of all places, and lied about being there. And what was her excuse? Oh, she was just dropping off one of my husband's friends. Rachel doesn't have a car and doesn't even drive, but she said she was just being a good friend because my husband's friend was wasted. But here's the kicker. Their friend lives a good 40 minutes away from D's place. You do the math. Basically, she lied and said my husband's friend lives there. It was actually D's house. Apparently, she was with D until 4 a.m. for drinks at his house alone. Did I mention D is married with 2 kids?
I want to say something about D's.
About D's nuts? His wife and children were conveniently out of town, which is classy, right?
Yeah, easy.
But wait, there's more. The lies don't stop there. Rachel's own bridesmaid caught her dancing inappropriately with D at the bar and saw them kiss. The bridesmaid and groomsmen were close friends of both Rachel and her fiance and has since been collecting receipts, evidence that Rachel has been emotionally cheating and lying to her fiance. Physically as well. They would kiss. They saw a kiss. Rachel eventually admitted to everything except sleeping with Dee, of course, because they didn't go that far, right? Yeah, that's believable. Her fiance wanted Dee's number to talk to him to confirm if what Rachel said is true. We didn't give his number because we don't have it, but he found it anyway. Her fiance is done with her. He can't trust her anymore. He's even gone as far as talking to her parents and calling off the wedding.
As you should.
This isn't the first time she cheated. She was engaged before and cheated on her previous fiance as well.
Rachel.
Some people just don't change. Back to Rachel's current fiance. Despite everything, he's been graceful enough to tell people that the split was mutual, trying to spare her from any public shame. And how does Rachel repay him for this kindness? By texting everyone she knows, claiming she called off the wedding because her ex-fiance is emotionally abusive and didn't trust her.
Oh, so she's cuckoo.
I think now it's time for the fiance to reveal the truth.
Oh, yeah.
If she's going to go on the warpath, the truth needs to be revealed.
She can't handle the truth.
I guess that's easier than admitting you've been sneaking out until 4 a.m. at another guy's house, right? At this point, my husband and I decided to tell his friends the truth because, of course, Rachel dragged their names into it too. And now that friend is angry because she was never that wasted and has never asked Rachel for help, nor did Rachel send her home at any point in time. She is ready to confront Rachel for using her as an alibi. And by the way, if you ever need an alibi, you can use coming to our stream at 3 p.m. PST every weekday on Facebook and YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap on our profile in any one of those platforms, and you are in the live. The truth needs to be revealed.
The truth definitely needs to be revealed. Rachel is a compulsive liar, a compulsive cheater, and just a compulsive, terrible person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everyone just leave her be.
Yeah, Rachel
let her go.
Rachel's very clearly the a-hole of this story.
She loves throwing people under the bus. Like anyone who she can throw under the bus, she'll throw under the bus.
Well, you cheat on one fiance.
But there's no bus to throw them under. That's the first thing.
Yeah, you cheat on another fiance. You keep cheating on your fiancés. You'll probably cheat on your next fiance. But I think in terms of OP being worried about like having the truth be out there and being like the ones kind of responsible for it, it's like if anyone gets mad, if they're directing anger at you, they should be directing it at Rachel.
Oh, 100%.
Really?
No, and you want to clear your name. You don't want to seem bad. And I think...
Well, they're clearing their name and the fiance's name.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the fiance deserves to not have any of this tarnished because he tried to go... I was like, oh, you know what? This sucks. Wedding's off.
Mhm.
Let's just be, friendly. No, she wants war. She's going to get war.
Let's finish the story. Honestly, I've had enough. I've been telling people what actually happened after the call because let's face it, Rachel doesn't deserve protection when all she does is throw everyone under the bus.
Hey.
Go to your shot. High five.
Boop. Like I call this as I sees it.
Her ex-fiance tried to spare her some dignity, but she chose deflection over reflection.
I love that.
If her shady behavior is out in the open now, that's on her. And there you have it. I didn't have to lift a finger. Wedding canceled. Her brides and groomsmen have all unfriended her. Friends lost. And all because she couldn't keep her lies straight. Karma did the heavy lifting this time. And that is the end of that story.
Good.
Good job. So glad that Rachel is gone.
We'll see you in the next one.
My friend is never happy for me, and I'm sick of it.
I'm happy for you, OP. I'll be happy for you.
Yeah.
And you too, Dakota. I'm happy for you.
Happy. We got enough happiness to go around over here.
I'll share some happiness with you.
I'm 22 female, and I've had a friend, 22 female, Jess, that I met almost 5 years ago. And since year one, we've been close, or so I thought. By the way, this comes from user Cheshire67 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, everything began this summer when we went together to a summer internship to another country. We lived together and everything, and she met someone, 24 male, Frank, from a different country, also visiting, on a group chat before we got there. They talked a lot, and when they met in person, they started going out a lot. I was happy for her. She broke up with someone not too long ago before that. But I was also worried because she hates long-distance relationships, and even though she always said they weren't going to be a thing, they ended up being a thing.
We're not going to be a thing. It's not going to happen.
Famous last words of people who become things.
We're a thing.
A few weeks later, I started talking with someone we met there, 26 male, Jason, and we clicked during our first conversation. And compared to them, we made it official and had it clear that we wanted to keep dating, even as a long-distance couple. And look at that, clear communication.
Unheard of.
During the last 2 weeks there, Jess had a few disagreements with Frank. Disagreements and discussions that even from the beginning had existed, but had been dismissed. This got to a point that he started calling her names and making her cry more times than I actually knew, which I discovered later. And our last week there, they broke up. He was the kind of person who will make you cry and then try to fix everything with a gift. We told her, me and our other friends, that it wasn't a good thing to stay with this guy, but she didn't care. And even after their breakup, they kept talking. One day she asked my opinion, and I told her the truth, that I didn't even like him. So she should worry about herself and not let him treat her like that. She got mad at me and left the room.
She could fix him. Don't worry. She's like, I'm going to fix him.
I can fix him. I kept going out with my boyfriend before leaving the country, and she would make comments telling me to do stuff with her so that I wouldn't go out. And at the end of the day, she didn't even do them, just me. Right before leaving, she told me not to tell my family or someone else at home about my relationship. After all, I should wait to see if we were going to last, which we might not anyway. I got so sad and mad. What kind of friend tells you that? She doesn't think your relationship's going to work. At the end, I told my parents and they were okay with it, and we are still together.
Congrats.
We didn't see each other much after the summer, but one of our conversations when we came back was her not happy that I told people about it. And when I talk about how my family accepted him, she didn't say anything bad, but I could feel something was wrong. Weeks later, I was talking with a friend, the kind that's always there for you and supporting. So I told him my doubts, that I felt like she wasn't happy about it and the things that she did when we were visiting that other country. And his answer surprised me and made me sad. He said, quote, "I'm glad you're not with her so much now. She has always been like that to you, but you just never noticed." He told me how she used to say how I wasn't smart, but I'm actually dumb. Ironically, I have better grades than her. How after an exam, she tried to dismiss my note and how I was just lucky. And she even used to tell people that I liked her ex-boyfriend back when they were dating, which is something she even told me once, but didn't say that she told everyone, just that she was sure of it. And that was a lie, by the way. I never liked him. I just tolerated him because of her. But she never believed me, so that kind of hurt me more. That she wanted so hard to believe that I was jealous of her and wanted her ex. When your friend's trying to spread their jelly all over the place, you want to get out of there because that's a sticky situation. More weeks later, we met in person again because of a school event, and she just talked about her, something I realized she used to do a lot, but I ignored it before. And when someone mentioned going to the same country we went to and meeting someone there like me, she laughed and said not to, and that she should look in another country with better people than the ones that we met. No one laughed with her, and I was kind of offended. Yeah, seeing as you're dating one of those guys. What was the point of remarking that when I was right next to her? She's jealous.
Jelly.
During these months, my birthday came, but I didn't do anything. I just went out with my family to eat a day before it, and on my actual birthday, I was home playing video games with my boyfriend. But she got offended because I didn't invite her to do something that never existed. And now I discovered she's organizing a party and doing it low-key so I wouldn't figure it out. Breaking news, I did. And by the way, breaking news for you, we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap on our profile and you're in. I'm going to go ahead and say this person's probably not someone you want to keep around for a long time.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, just like the jealous type, the jealous archetype where it's like me, and ugh.
And I feel like this is right at, not that this is like something that people can't do when they're like teenagers or younger, but I feel like 22, 23, like that's the age where you start to
Grow
really
out
be
a
aware.
friend, of like who you want to be with.
Like, like her friend said that when they talked, like, yeah, she actually always did this. You just didn't ever realize it. Now she's seeing like, yeah, this person has intense negative behavior.
Yeah. Also, you just don't want to be, even if it wasn't jealousy, it's just negative all the time. And like, ooh, you don't want that around you.
Yeah. Negative people can be a real drain.
Because guess what? It'll just bring more negativity around you and more negative people into the picture. Like the boyfriend that she was on and off again with or still talking to. Yeah, you don't want that.
Now I'm conflicted because I felt like she never really cared about our friendship. I saw her trying hard with people who treated her horribly, trying to talk to them, but then coming back and playing victim because they didn't care. And now she's tried to not talk to me, but telling our mutual friends how I won't talk to her. Even though I tried to tell her stuff and start a conversation, but she just gave me general responses like you get in a standard corporate email.
You've got mail.
I'm terrible dealing with emotional stuff, but am I the a-hole for not really wanting to try and talk to her after everything I discovered, or am I exaggerating? And we do have some relevant comments. Sacred Active 6144 said, she's no friend. Listen to what people are saying to you. She's jealous of you. She's sly and a backbiter. Toxic, no loss here. OP's response, thank you. I wanted to see if someone else sees it like that or if I was the problem, even though it is weird after discovering that all those years together weren't what I thought. And then Adrienne, new on the bun, says, not the a-hole. It sounds like she's a fair weather friend, someone who wants to be around when it suits her, but not when she needs to show up for other people. You don't need that in your life. Some relationships and friendships are for a reason, and some are for a season. And her season is up. Move on without any guilt. You deserve better.
I like that.
That was funny.
One. I've never heard that one.
Some have a reason, some have a season. Some aren't seasoned if they're
just salty.
Yeah, some of them are over seasoned. Yeah. Sacred Active has another comment. Some people are like that. They're pretenders, but you can see how now you'll be okay. I doubt she can form true friendships with anyone. And that is the end of that story. Like we said, we said the sort of angel baby move is maybe having a conversation to get her to see her ways, but judging by the sound of it, she probably won't even take that well anyway.
No, she'll flip the words and like, oh, she's coming at me and she's attacking me. No, you're good. You don't need to do it. You don't need to stress out. You can move on.
Yep.
You're 22 years old. Friendships. I think this is the age where you find out friendships don't need to be friendships, and you're like, I don't need that person anymore.
Yeah, some people just will be in your life and then not.
That's literally that's the age where it's like 21 to 25. He's like, oh, I'm growing apart. Like I don't need this person in my life.
Yeah, I think the best advice I could give right before we end the episode here, I think a big thing for making friends is just being open to making friends, but also in the same way, like open to being like, okay, I don't need this person to like me. I don't need this person to be my friend. If you're not seeing any positives coming out of that friendship.
I was going to say,
mean?
friendships should never be forced.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like you're forcing yourself to be with her.
Well, yeah, no, that's right. I feel like but friendships do take effort.
No,
like it's very seldom where you have a friendship where you can like not really talk to somebody for years or months and then pick up right back where you
it felt
left
like
off.
It was yesterday. Like, catching up. Yeah, that's natural. It should feel natural.
It takes maintenance to keep a friendship going.
It's a bond.
Over a long time.
You got to work on it, but you got to trust your gut too, and trust what other people say. If people have views and they're not where you are, they'll know better.
You get to decide who's worth the maintenance and who's not.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's kind of, it might sound kind of callous, but like at the end of the day, that's really what it is.
Facts.
Like, but anyway, that's the end of that story.
My best friend married a toxic man. She kicked me out of her wedding.
Oh my God. That's a bad friend.
Chloe and I were best friends in high school. We could sit down at a kitchen table talking for hours, perfectly content and entertained in each other's company. When Chloe got her driver's license, I rode shotgun while she drove around town because she was nervous about driving alone. By the way, this comes from Dingoes8, my MO, on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So things changed when Chloe started dating an older guy named Wade. He was in his mid-20s. Chloe and I were barely 18. It felt icky to me. But Chloe's parents were thrilled with the match.
Interesting.
They'd known Wade since he was a kid. If Chloe's parents were okay with it, Who was I to question it?
I don't trust that.
I think you know how to do math and no one else here does. From then on, all of our kitchen table chats and driving adventures included Wade. I was invited to Chloe's parents' house one weekend. Chloe picked me up with Wade in tow. Instead of the low-key kitchen table chat I was expecting, we arrived at a house party. A bunch of Wade's older friends were in attendance. They explained Chloe's parents were out of town, so they were having a party. There was drinking and other recreational treats, and Wade kept attempting to pair me up with one of his buddies. I contemplated calling my parents to pick me up, but I didn't want to get Chloe in trouble. I spent a very awkward night socializing with wasted older men and helping Chloe clean up the mess after everyone cleared out. I went to college out of state, so I didn't see Chloe much. We kept in touch on AIM, AOL's instant messenger, like DMs, only ancient. Whenever I went home for breaks and weekends, we tried to make time and see each other so our friendship remained close. Or so I thought.
Sometimes this happens though, like especially when you're a little bit younger, like in your 18 to like teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll have friends who get into a relationship and it's probably like maybe one of their first, if not their first.
And they lose themselves in it.
Yeah, and they're like so focused on the relationship and the excitement about like, oh, this is, you know, my first relationship or whatever, that they kind of don't focus on their friends. It's a mistake that, you know, a lot of people make, and it's not necessarily something that you can't learn from.
After Chloe moved into an apartment with Wade, things shifted dramatically. Turned out Wade had a drinking problem and a temper, and he spent a good chunk of their money on the devil's lettuce.
And the parents are like, chill with Wade?
They knew him since he was a kid. It's okay. I was invited by Chloe's parents to a birthday get-together for Chloe at the apartment. Chloe spent the entire time being berated by Wade in their bedroom, while her parents and I stared at each other.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. If I like heard my child being berated by their partner, I would be like, don't you talk to my daughter that way.
There we go. Again, I wondered why her parents seemed to be okay with this. Blackmail? Do you think Wade did something with the mom and is now having blackmail over the mom?
It would be a crazy side plot to this story. This would be the best story we've ever read if that was going on.
I'm hoping. All of our hangouts included Wade and made me uncomfortable, as he was usually wasted, high, or angry. I told Chloe I couldn't deal with his behavior, and I only come to their apartment if Wade wasn't present. This caused tension between them, and Chloe asked me to take an effort to be friends with Wade. On one occasion, while I was visiting their apartment, Chloe stepped away to use the bathroom, and Wade hit on me while she was gone. I was shocked and couldn't get out of there fast enough. During one of my visits from college, Chloe invited me over. I had my driver's license by then, so I drove to her apartment complex. As soon as I walked through the door, Chloe burst into tears. Wade's temper was getting worse as he was drinking. She was having trouble paying the bills herself, and Wade couldn't keep a job. She was worried about things escalating, and going back to her parents' house was out of the question. Her life at home was worse than what she was going through with Wade. Okay.
So her parents suck too.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
Break up with Wade and move in with me. That's what I would do.
I mean, it's really hard for OP because OP's still like basically a kid too. She's like 18 as well. How do you help a friend when you're like, I don't have the money or, you know, wherewithal to know how to help you either?
Since I was away at school most of the time, my bedroom was typically vacant. I asked her if she wanted to come with me and my parents' house to figure out what she should do next. She was afraid of what would happen if Wade came home and she was gone. So I went home, told my parents everything, and they said of course Chloe could stay with them as long as she needed. I reiterated this to Chloe, and there was a tentative plan for her to pack a go bag and get out of there. Chloe went radio silent.
I'd be so scared. I would be so scared as like OP.
She wasn't answering my calls or instant messages. It wasn't until I told her through AIM that I was concerned for her safety that she responded. She said she'd just been busy and everything was fine. I thought Wade could have discovered the plan, so I kept things light and didn't pry. This continued for several weeks. I was back home visiting when I got a call from Chloe on my parents' landline. I picked up, relieved she was finally calling me, but it was Wade's voice, and I heard on the other end. He called me to tell me he and Chloe were engaged. No. My heart dropped to my stomach. How did we get here? I managed to strain, wow, congratulations. He replied with a smug, thank you, and handed the phone to Chloe. I basically asked how this had come about, and her response was wishy-washy. I returned to school, and a chasm developed between Chloe and me. Imagine my surprise when Chloe messaged me on AIM and asked if I'd be a bridesmaid. I accepted and agreed to go with her to pick out the dresses. I felt uncomfortable with the whole situation, but I figured this is my only chance to show Chloe that I was there to support her no matter what. When I arrived to the dress shop, I learned Chloe had already picked out her wedding dress, and most of the bridesmaids had already picked out theirs. And any bridal shower and bachelorette events had already occurred. Chloe glossed over this when I asked and eventually told me they had already happened. All the wedding arrangements were already made. Venue, cake, centerpieces, invitations. It became clear to me in that moment that I had been asked to be a bridesmaid as an afterthought.
Potentially, yes, you were asked as an afterthought, but I also think there's a possibility that Wade didn't want you to be.
Yep.
And she had to kind of fight for you to be a bridesmaid. That's like a potential, but this is a really not good situation.
This is not fun. Ultimately, Chloe kicked me out of the wedding, claiming I hadn't bothered to attend any of the important milestones. I pointed out I hadn't been invited to any of those and felt like she asked me to be a bridesmaid last minute. She told me the only reason she asked me was that her mother talked her into it. She replaced me with her cousin months ago, shortly after we went to pick out dresses. But we will never replace you if you join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok. All you gotta do is tap her profile. But dang, dude, this is such a sad story.
No, it is sad. And like from OP's perspective, you just have to know that you've done what you can and you tried to be there and support her. But when she's in this situation, she's kind of being blinded by her partner's, words and by her parents' words and stuff. And so there's not that much that you can do to kind of convince her unless she's willing to take a step in that direction. So you did the best that you could.
And just be there for her with open arms. And whenever she gets back into reality. This is so sad. It's Chloe's first relationship too. Yeah. Chloe and Wade got married and had a son together. She and I didn't speak for about 10 years. Eventually, they divorced and Wade stepped out of their son's life. Chloe has since been remarried, found a fulfilling career, and is happy with her current family. We caught up over Facebook, and while we're not close friends like we used to be, I'm happy she got out of that situation eventually and that she's currently living her best life.
Amazing.
Wow. And you still loved her from afar. Sometimes that's all you can give people whenever they don't want you close.
Exactly. I love that there was a happy ending for Chloe.
Goodness. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, anyone out there who was in this situation with a friend where you see them in kind of like a not great situation, just know that at a certain point, there is only so much that you can do. Don't sacrifice any of your needs.
Yeah, just because you're trying to make someone else happy, because there are other people in this world, and please, if you're in a tight spot, get out.
Yeah. But that is the end of that story. My friends excluded me from the bridal party because I didn't pass their friendship test. What type of test was it?
Is this like one of those online ones?
Yeah. Was it like I was going to sponsor, but I guess I can't sponsor. I, 21 female at the time, now 27, dropped out of a wedding party. Here's the tea.
Oh, give us the tea.
By the way, this comes from Medium Goose 2297 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So when I was in college, Amber, 23 female, Tara, 21 female, and I were close friends. We enjoyed having wine nights and girl time as girls do in college. The summer going into my junior year of college, Amber got engaged and asked me, Tara, and some other friends in our friend group to be her bridesmaids. Wow, in college. I was beyond excited for her, and I truly felt honored to be in her wedding party. I was and still am in love with weddings and all things love and romance.
Aww.
I was especially excited for Amber to pick out her wedding dress. I remember sending her pictures of beautiful wedding dresses she should try on and telling her how excited I was for her to say yes to the dress.
Yes to the dress.
I had never been a bridesmaid before, and I was so excited to see my friend get married.
And she loves weddings and romance.
And she loves
so she's
weddings
extra
and
excited.
romance.
She loves love.
She
loves finding a romance partner.
Speaking of love, Stella, I did see you change back. I love you, wife.
Aw, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
An important and unfortunate flaw I had in college, I had severe anxiety. I never slept. I was in constant state of fight or flight. I quite literally never stopped studying and practicing. I studied music education. I even ended up in the ER at one point because I thought I was having a heart attack.
Wow.
Nope, just anxiety. I've had that.
Really?
I went to the ER my freshman year.
Like panic attack or?
It was anxiety attack. It's a little bit really quick. My understanding is panic attack is kind of like you're hyperventilating, you're crying. It's like a lot. Whereas anxiety attack, you're like, I'm fine, but I cannot stop my heart from pounding and I'm like shaking. You're like, this is so weird.
Scary.
All of this is to say that unfortunately, when I get stressed, I shut down and I shut out almost everyone in my life. I basically disappeared during the spring of my junior year and had no awareness I was even doing so because I was so hyper-focused on not being a failure in school. As a result, From January all the way until April of that year, I had unintentionally failed to reach out to Amber. Junior year of college, and also trying to be a bridesmaid? Hard stuff.
And she has severe
anxiety. Hard stuff to manage.
Yeah.
But it is very important to note that Amber had also not reached out, called, or texted me once during these months either. But I didn't even notice. I had no idea of how much time had passed since we last talked. I have a lot of friends that I may go a few months without talking to, and when we talk again, we're still besties. So I thought nothing of it. During the spring of my junior year, the week before a very important piano performance that I had and finals the week after, Tara asked me if I was available that Saturday for a girls' wine night with myself, Tara, and Amber, as we had always done. I told her, while I would love to go, I really couldn't that weekend. I needed to practice and study for my upcoming performances and finals. Fast forward to Monday, I had just finished the piano performance I was stressed about when I saw Amber posted a picture of her with all of her bridesmaids, except me, holding a sign that read, "I said yes to the dress." So they went to the dress shopping without OP.
Damn.
The way my heart dropped into my stomach when I saw that picture. Why hadn't she invited me? Why did Tara tell me it was just a girls' wine night when really it was a whole girls' day for Amber to pick out her dress?
Oh, so she didn't go to the invite?
So basically, Tara asked me if I was available that Saturday for a girls' wine night. So OP said I can't go, but only knew that it was a wine night.
Why'd you say she couldn't go?
She was studying, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so wasn't given the actual, what was actually happening, which is weird.
Yeah.
Why did Tara tell me it was just a girls' wine night when really it was a whole girls' day for Amber to pick out her wedding dress? So even then, it seems like OP wouldn't have been invited to the whole thing, just to the wine night portion.
Yeah, I'm confused on if she was deliberately hiding it or if the plans changed or what happened there.
I was so confused. I immediately called Amber. When she answered, I told her that I saw her post. I told her congratulations for picking out the dress, and I'm sure she looks beautiful and that I couldn't wait to see it, and she said thank you. Then I asked her why I hadn't been invited when all the other bridesmaids had been. She told me that she hadn't heard from me since January, and she didn't think I was a good friend because I had been MIA. I apologized profusely, and it took so much strength for me to not cry on the phone with her. I told her I was so sorry for not reaching out to her the past few months, and that I am so excited for her wedding, and I really value our friendship, and it was nothing personal. I've just been stressed about school. But she didn't lighten up. She insisted that I was not a good bridesmaid or friend, and if I was going to say no to a casual wine night, then I didn't deserve to help her pick out her dress. That's incredibly unfair.
And also, relationships are two-way street.
Yeah, like why didn't you reach out to her?
And if you're not reaching out, like you're playing a big or same role.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a double standard.
But I understand, like it's contextually, it's a little different. Like you're having a wedding coming up, but still, I think it's still a two-way street.
Again, also like school. I mean, she has anxiety, yes, but also school, it even alone is just a busy time.
Not if you're a comm major at UCSB. You got time to party.
Dang, I did not have time to party.
Really?
I was a theater major. I was a double major, and I was also major? Yeah, I was a double major, and I was doing plays. I was rehearsing every day. Yeah.
Oh, really?
And I was working.
I was
basically
not
the
anymore,
whole
though,
thing.
for the record.
Wow. Basically the whole thing was a plan, and Tara was in on it too.
Oh, so it was a friendship test.
Yeah, so that was the test. That she didn't go to the
and you
wine
failed.
night.
That makes me mad.
Really messed up. Could have just communicated with her.
We could have just communicated. You could have even communicated your upsetness and your anger.
Could have said, "Hey, like I feel like you haven't reached out to me," instead of.
But you wanted to go behind her back and try to it's manipulative.
They planned to ask me to the wine night as a test to see if I was worthy of helping her pick out the dress. I continued to apologize to her, and I promised I would be a better friend. Her response was, okay, but with a, we'll see if you can straighten up your act kind of tone. That night was one of the worst nights of my time in college. I cried all night, literally soaked my pillow with tears, and called my sweet boyfriend Julian, now husband, who was long distance at the time, so many times throughout the night for comfort because I was so distraught. I was heartbroken and felt like I had been a terrible friend for not reaching out, but I also felt betrayed by Tara and Amber's plan to test my friendship. Like the guiding light he always is, Julian gently convinced me that I was not in the wrong and this whole thing was toxic. If Amber had texted me, I would have responded to her. If she had called me, I would have answered like I had always done. And if she had invited me to help pick out her dress that weekend, I would have made the time to be there even though I was stressed. Maybe I didn't have time for a careless wine night that weekend, but I did have time to be a bridesmaid. And if it was a wedding-related activity, I would have made it a point to be there even if I was stressed and anxious. Yeah, I mean, there are different levels to event importance. And like if someone was like, hey, do you want to go get gas with me? And I have like a bunch of work to do, I'd be like, sorry, a lot of work to do. Yeah. Versus if they were like, hey, do you want to go wedding dress shopping? I'd be like, yeah, I'll make time.
I will prioritize it because it is important. If you give false context and get an answer that matches that false context and get mad at the person, it is your fault.
That entire week was emotionally draining. I took it hard, and it took me almost 2 months to fully process everything. I felt isolated and excluded from that friend group and the wedding party because they had all been there to help her pick out a dress, and I was intentionally excluded. And not one of the bridesmaids, who were also my friends, let me know or gave me a heads up that the whole thing was a trick.
It's frustrating.
Very frustrating.
I'm frustrated.
I finally started to find clarity about the situation, and my clarity was this. If I have to convince you that I'm a good friend, you don't know me, and we aren't friends. I have good friends. I would go to the end of the world for them, and they know that. I don't have to prove myself to them.
Yes, preach it.
Yes. And we definitely don't lie and play games to see if the other is worthy.
Oh, I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
As much as I tried, I couldn't get over this incident or be with the bride or bridesmaids, knowing what they had done. In June of that year, I dropped out of her wedding. I had to practice what I was going to say 1,000,000 times with my mom before I talked to her.
I'm so proud of OP.
This is great. But I basically told her a true friend would never have wanted to make me feel the way she made me feel.
Mm-hmm.
If she wanted to talk to me, she could have texted me or called me, but she didn't, and then made me feel bad for doing the same thing. She was very upset with the news. The conversation was one of the hardest ones I have ever had, but I ended it proud because I stuck up for myself for the first time in my life.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you too.
This is great.
Yes, this is communication. This is what your friend should have been doing the whole time if she was upset.
100%. And you detangled the shame that and the narrative that they put on you. Luckily, you had a wonderful partner, now husband, to help with that. And you put down a boundary and stood up for yourself, realizing that you have enough worth to be able to do this. This is amazing.
Very true. A few months later, she asked to meet for coffee, and she apologized for her behavior.
Okay.
I forgave her, but time had only solidified my decision to leave the group. I hope the best for her and everyone involved, just from far, far away. But we hope that you guys are never too far, far away from us, because you can listen to full episodes like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Just search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left to this story, but do you have any final thoughts for OP?
I want to hear your thoughts.
I think that was definitely the right thing to do. I think OP taking that time, that 2 months, to, as you said, detangle it and figure out what she was feeling, and then go to her friend and say, hey, this is how I felt. It was not okay for you to do that. And then at the end of the day, not go back to her. Yeah. Not be like, you know what? I actually realized I still don't need this friendship, regardless of your apology. But I can forgive you. And so it's like taking off that mental weight of worrying about that situation while also not pushing yourself to go back into a friendship that doesn't serve you.
Right.
Yeah.
Proud of OP. And also, if you have to win love or earn love, it is not love.
No.
And so if your friends are proposing tests for you to prove yourself, that is not what a loving, secure relationship looks like. And so I'm glad that OP was able to realize.
Agreed. But there is a little bit left to the story. All is not lost, though. I have grown from this experience. I now make it a huge point to go to every friend and family function I can possibly go to. And I take pride in always saying yes to plans, no matter how busy life may get. I don't know if that's necessarily the takeaway. You don't have to go to everything.
I want you to. Yeah. I hope OP can learn your no.
Yeah.
And that you're not traumatized the other way. And like, I always have to say yes now unless it's a test. Like, your no is so important to your worth and to your sanity. So I hope that you can say no.
I intentionally answer the phone every time I get a call or text, even if I'm stressed or anxious. And I try to remember to check in on my friends more often than before. But I know that my true friends know my heart and have my back.
Okay.
And that is the end. Again, you don't have to say yes to everything if you're stressed and anxious. That's okay. People should understand if they know you.
Yeah.
And you can also just provide like explanations. You can say, hey, I can't come to this because I've got a lot of work or because I'm feeling a little bit stressed. That's okay too.
My friend secretly moved in her sister at our house despite our disapproval.
She's living in our walls.
I, 32-year-old female, have a longtime friend, 25. Let's call her Emily. Emily is currently living in my family home. By the way, this comes from you, Icy Boysenberry 629 on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So now for some context. We have known Emily for almost 18 years, and her family lives near my grandparents' house. Emily's family are all deadbeats. Okay. Even some members are in the illegal business. They have this as a career. Due to this, Emily and her siblings went through many bad times because their mom is a real piece of work. This woman was only concerned about the man in her life. There were many, and left her children alone for months and then returned as if nothing had happened. Oh, wow. So not only did she get distracted by a man, she physically left.
Yeah.
You can say that they were raised by her grandmother and they were often left unattended. Before we met her and her family, we lived in another area like the countryside, about 30 minutes from my grandparents' home. Fast forward to when I entered college, we moved to the same neighborhood as my grandparents. And Emily, very close to my college, you could walk to get there. We didn't sell our family home because my parents said it would be one of the things they left for us, so we took care of the maintenance of the house. But no one lived there permanently. We used it as a guest house sometimes and as a vacation too. That was a long side note.
Yes.
We then realized the gravity of Emily's situation. She became a very close friend with one of my younger sisters, 25 female Lizzie, and seeing that often they didn't even have anything to eat.
Whoa.
Damn. So in a really tough family.
Yeah.
We started inviting her and her sister to our house. They eat with us almost every day. That's really kind and sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of family stuff going on, and
Yeah.
it seems like they're trying to help out Emily.
Yeah. And Emily is the families kind of knew each other,
Yes.
but more friends with OP's sister.
Yes.
Who's more her age. My parents often said that we can't ignore when our family/friends need us, and if we have to help them, we sure have to do it. That's the kind of people they are. The only problem that I had with Emily in all these years was the fact that her family had her wrapped around their fingers, and she was always getting them out of trouble, even if that meant getting herself into trouble. Is that really a problem with Emily? It seems like she experienced a lot of trauma in her life.
Yeah.
And, like any natural human being response to still want the approval of your family.
Yeah.
But then again, that was not my problem, and it was is her life.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the issue. Almost 2 years ago, Emily got married, and we were very happy for her. My sister was the maid of honor, and my family actively participated in the planning. My dad even officiated the wedding. That's sweet.
This is lovely. They're very connected.
Yeah, the families are really sweet together. Or I guess family with Emily. Around that time, again, her family was in trouble, and she went out of her way to help them. Even her fiance was against this. The result, she was left with no money, nothing. She even used the rent money, and now she didn't have anywhere to stay. So being her support system, my parents told her that she could stay in our family home.
So wait. So after the wedding, she used up all the money on the wedding, and now...
No. Emily used the money to help her bail her family out of whatever trouble they were getting into again.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm taking in... I don't know why. This story is tripping me up.
There's a lot of...
There's a lot of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So Emily bailed out her family, and so now has moved into OP's family's place.
Yes.
Okay.
Because she has no more money to bail out.
Got it.
Honestly, I was opposed to that because I know her. My dad told her that she didn't have to pay rent or even pay for the maintenance. The only condition was that she wasn't allowed to bring any member of her family. None. Which seems like a reasonable
I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, she's shown that she's willing to kind of give them whatever they need without regard of what she needs.
Even her siblings and she agree with this. Currently, she is pregnant with her first child, and 2 weeks ago, she went behind our back and spoke with my parents. Why I said this? Because I haven't mentioned that our family home is legally my sister's and mine. Our parents transferred the property to us, so we have been taking care of it since. Emily knew this, and she went to talk to my parents and asked them if they would allow her sister to stay at our house when she gave birth for 2 weeks to help her while her husband was given leave from work.
Okay. So I understand. The problem here is that they had an agreement that it was only going to be Emily, and now Emily's gone to the parents and been like, hey, my sister's got to move in too, even though technically this is supposed to be OP and her sister's place.
Yeah. However, it's OP and her sister's place, but the parents were the people in the first place who invited OP or invited Emily in.
Yes. I think it's pretty disrespectful of Emily when she's being very helped a lot to then kind of capitalize on that and go behind their backs. I think that's pretty rude. If you're going to do it, at least have the, courage to actually ask the people who you're living with.
Yeah, I see that. So, and she went to talk to my parents to ask them if they would allow her sister to stay at our house when she gave birth for 2 weeks to help her while her husband was given leave from work. My parents agreed, again, without asking
It's
us.
also messed up with the parents.
Yeah, so the parents are like now like factors in being disrespectful, which I didn't think was okay, since even though it's the house they both bought, it's now legally ours and we should be included in any decision. Yeah.
Yes.
That checks out. Anyway, 2 days ago, we went shopping with Emily and she made this comment. My sister is asking me when we're going home because she's tired. To which I reply, home? How so? Emily says, yes, because my sister came to me as a surprise a few days ago and she's been living with us, but last night she went out partying and didn't come home, to which my husband got angry because he doesn't want her to live with us.
They didn't know that she was. So the parents and Emily moved her sister into OP and her sister's house and never told them? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why.
That's crazy. It's one thing to be like, oh yeah, they're going to move in now. And another thing entirely to be like, they've been moved in and you guys didn't know.
Yeah, there's someone that you are not aware of
In your house.
Wild.
Ooh.
You're like, I'm hearing things.
Emily,
Yeah,
Emily,
there's
girl,
like,
Emily.
who's in the
walls?
You're hearing voices in the wall. I'm going crazy.
I asked her, what's that about her living with you? We agreed that she was going to help you for 2 weeks after you gave birth. Not that she was going to live with you. I'm sorry, but she didn't learn anything from her situation growing up. And that's fine. That's her life, her problem. But I don't want her on my property. I'm sorry.
I love that OP's like, I'm sorry, I understand that I don't want her here, but I understand that she's going through a lot, but I don't want her here. It's like constantly going back and forth, like trying to be, understanding. But
Really? It seems like the whole thing was angry.
Well, I think she's angry, but I think she's trying to show that she's understanding.
Oh,
That's my perspective of it.
I'm reading it in a different tone. She kept quiet, finished shopping, and left. I mentioned this to Lizzie, the sister, and she was in shock because Emily had never spoken about this to her. It turns out when she asked my parents for permission, she already had plans for her sister to stay permanently with her at our house. She just knew that we would refuse, so she put her there in the hope that we would let it go later.
Oh, Caleb on comments says, again, OP and her sister don't live there.
Oh.
So that actually does change a lot if we missed that part.
Wait, I missed that.
I missed that too. It does change the context of.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't change. Emily's still in the wrong, but it does make sense why they didn't know.
Didn't know. Yeah, I was like, how did you not know someone's in your house? Okay, so OP is saying that Emily was plotting to get the okay for 2 weeks and then have her sister live there permanently. I wonder if this has been confirmed or if OP is just saying, I know what she's doing. Well,
it seems like we know for a fact that she went behind their back. So regardless of whether or not she was plotting, she did it.
No.
Yeah.
But do you see the difference?
Yeah.
There's the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And OP is now making an accusation that Emily, under the context of moving her sister in for 2 weeks with the parents, she was actually wanting her sister to live there permanently.
Yeah, so even a further lie than
And I'm
lying to the parents as well.
I'm questioning, is OP
that true?
assuming that? Was that confirmed?
Let's see if OP confirms it.
Yeah. However, my sisters and I are not willing to do so. My parents, on the other hand, got mad at me because I was so rude when I responded to her and that I should have waited for a better time, but I told them that she was acting behind our back, so I reacted appropriately, but I don't know. Am I wrong?
No, that's your house. Regardless of whether or not you're living in it, your Crazy Cat says, as the legal owners, OP and her sister need to go to the town court and get the sister and Emily served an eviction. I think that first I think you can be like, hey, get out of the house. Before we even go to legal, just say, you gotta go. And then if they don't leave in a timely manner, then it's like, okay.
So you would say, for sure, you would be like, you went behind my back.
Yeah.
You're leaving.
I think because she's pregnant, my reaction would have been like, hey, I'll give you a week or two or something to sort out. But the sister's not living there. I'll give Emily 3 weeks.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Sister can't stay.
Yeah.
So Emily gets 3 weeks to figure out her situation. Then she's got to go. That's my final offer.
I think it's a little more nuanced and complicated. There's so much relationship. There's so much history. Of her experiencing all this crap. She did something wrong, but perhaps it was the first time she went behind your back.
It's a big behind the back.
It's a big one for sure. I don't know. I don't know if I would kick Emily out.
You'd give her 4 weeks.
I think I would give her a strike. I would be like, this is unacceptable.
But you kick
your sister
out.
Needs to leave.
Okay. So sister's got to go either way.
And I'm very upset.
Yeah.
That's probably how it.
That's Alex, and I give 3 weeks.
Okay, update. First of all, I want to thank the people who took the time and read my post, comment on it. It's been crazy lately, but I could finally write an update. A couple of things I would like to mention. I don't live with my parents. I have my own house and live with my older sister. I have 2 younger sisters that's still living with my parents. My older sister is engaged, and she talked to us when she started dating her fiance about the house and how she wanted to buy us out. And we agreed with this because she's the one that always wanted to live away from the city. So they're selling it to another sister?
I guess so.
Now to the update. We have a family meeting to discuss how to move forward regarding the house. My sister Lizzie, Emily's best friend, was disappointed by Emily's attitude, but not surprised because, as I said in my previous post, when it comes to her family, she totally changes. We've tried to tell her that it is not a healthy relationship. Even her husband had told her so, because she is always the one who ends up hurt without money, even with health problems. But she doesn't listen to us. It's like she's always expecting the best from them, but they always end up disappointing her, and she doesn't react. She is being taken advantage of by her family, but it makes so much sense that she allows it.
Yeah.
She's been trained her whole life to abandon her no and to self-abandon herself in order to save the family. So I'm not judging her for that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it seems like she's progressed to the point where she's also doing this to other people.
Yeah.
She's just she just does it, and she's like, I don't need permission.
For sure. Yeah, no, when it involves like other people's scenarios of 100%, put down boundaries. This is unacceptable. But still, as Alex, I'm like, I'm saying that makes sense based on her history.
I'm saying that she's taking what her family is doing and doing it to other people.
In what way?
And that, like, she's just kind of doing stuff without getting permission. Like, she's like, oh, I don't even need your, like, I'm not going to ask for permission. Like, I'm not going to ask for your yes or no. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. So as a family, we decided to go to the property and talk to her and her husband about the situation. We also wanted to check if her sister is still living there.
Yeah. Get her out of there.
Yeah. As I mentioned above, my older sister is going to move there after she gets married. So we were going to tell them that they have until the end of the year to vacate the property.
Damn. When
what
was
month
this
is
posted?
Many in the comments advised me to take her out immediately. Sophia says
Take her
3
out.
weeks, though.
I give 3 weeks.
But you also have to understand that besides being our friend, her husband is also a good family member. He met Emily through us. Oh, I didn't know that. And we don't want to end this friendship, so we decided to give her another chance. Added to the fact that she is 7 months pregnant.
Fair.
And has no money.
And no money.
Of course, what she did is not excusable, but as I've mentioned multiple times, she totally changes when it comes to her family. With that said, we left for the property, and guess what? Her sister was still living there. In fact, when we arrived, I saw that she was eating a snack on a piece of furniture that my older sister had just bought for when she moved into the house. I have to clarify that Emily doesn't know that my older sister is moving into the house, nor that she is engaged. It was something recent that only we know, and she's planning to announce it next month at a family party. Anyway.
Get out. Get her out of there.
I told Emily that the furniture was going to stay in storage, but for some reason her sister felt she had the right to take it out. And that Emily didn't say anything to her. My sister and I were furious.
They suck. These people suck. They're squatters.
Disrespect to the furniture.
Yeah.
Is just adding fuel to the fire.
Unbelievable.
And we told her to get up from the furniture immediately, and if there was any damage, she would pay for it along with the cleaning. The furniture was stained with something like sauce or something.
No, I'm pissed.
And it's new. Furniture is expensive.
No, yeah.
Her sister starts yelling at us. No way.
The audacity.
And saying a lot of things. I couldn't take it anymore, and I yelled, "Shut up! Shut up!" We came here to talk to your sister and her husband, not you. You have nothing to do with this equation. You mean nothing in this equation. You are not part of this equation.
Yeah.
So get off my property before I call the police. Emily will gather your things and get them to you, but you're not getting anything out of here. I know I may have said some harsh things, but the audacity of some people brings out the worst in me.
No, I mean, like, you made no agreement with her. She's a random person.
Your anger makes sense.
Yeah.
Emily was shocked, to say the least, and said that even her sister was wrong. I shouldn't have spoken to her that way.
Too bad. Too freaking bad.
Oh. So, Emily's mad at OP.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Which my dad replied, and what did you expect, Emily? You have abused our trust and our generosity. We got Papa Bear getting
He
pricked.
said, I let you bring her in here.
Papa Bear's coming in strong. We allowed you to live here without contributing anything, so that you could get back on your feet, all because of that family that you defend so much. You've harmed yourself and your husband and now us.
Whew.
What did you expect? My daughter told you no more than 2 weeks ago to get your sister off her property, and you completely ignored that in a total lack of respect towards her and all of us. So the Papa Bear is redeeming himself.
I mean, like, he kind of started this problem, but
yeah. So, but he's redeeming himself. He's coming to the defense of his daughter, standing up for her and telling them off, putting down hard boundaries. Says no. Her husband interrupted and apologized to us since he didn't know that Emily didn't have authorization to bring her sister to the house, much less that I told her she couldn't stay there. He's like, I'm pissed at Emily.
He's like, sorry.
To which I said, I'm so sorry, but because of all of this, we can't trust you to respect the boundaries we've set. Please vacate the property by the end of the month. There's also someone coming to install cameras on the property, and I've already told the doorman not to let anyone else in, just you two. Doorman. Got some money. I'm so sorry I had to come to this, but you're leaving us no choice, Emily. You're like family to us, but you betrayed our trust. And you know what? We trust you to go listen to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to Spotify, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime.
Oh, man, there's a little bit left of the story, but final thoughts? Like, fair.
Fair.
Get her out of there. You gave her a month.
Fair.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I said. At the end of the day, I'm
you
right.
You said 1 week, then you said 2 weeks, and you said 3 weeks.
I settled on 3. But man, oh man, Kimberly Fine says he came in with the I'm disappointed energy.
Dude.
Not mad, I'm just
he
disappointed.
I liked his response.
Me too.
I felt proud.
Me too.
For standing up for his house, his daughter.
Yeah, I felt good. But there is a little bit left to the story. So let's finish it off.
So yeah, that's it. They'll be out of the house by the end of the month. I honestly don't know what will happen to our friendship.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Nice nothing good.
From now on, but it will be hard for everything to go back to normal, at least for now. Thank you so much for your help and support.
And there you have it. That's the end of that story.
Do you have any last words?
No, I think they handled it well. Yeah.
Fair. Seems like they put warnings down, they put boundaries down, they were broken, disrespected, lied to. Makes sense.
My friend lied about his job and I got interrogated because of it. What kind of job does he have?
Yeah, what's so serious about this?
Yeah. One of my longtime acquaintances, let's call him Miles. He also happens to be the spouse of my partner's best friend. He had regularly mentioned being unhappy in his current job due to late nights, lack of balance, etc. By the way, this comes from Legitimate Concept 403 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So his company happened to fall under a similar industry to mine, and he always seemed like he really had his crap together. My partner and I always knew they were financially struggling through conversations with his spouse. When a job opening came up at my company, I gladly sent him the deets and gave my boss his name. I knew my company had better compensation, flexibility, and culture. It was a great opportunity, and Miles agreed. And as it turns out, Miles got hired. I reached out to Miles to send a congrats and chat. Miles expressed having some anxiety about giving his current employer notice. I thought this was understandable and sent words of encouragement. I honestly never gave it a second thought. A few months later, things got a little weird. I was on a call one day and received a meeting invite from someone I didn't know. And the meeting was in 5 minutes. Whoa. Can I talk to you now?
I need to go right now.
Right now. I reached out to the sender to let them know they must have the wrong person. She responded with, "No, we have the right person. Please have your camera on for this meeting." I hover over the name and see this person is from the ethics department. I'm immediately worried that I did something wrong, but I couldn't pinpoint a single thing that would have had to lead to a discussion with ethics. I joined the call and was greeted by 2 individuals. After their warm greetings, they immediately switched gears and started asking questions. I was completely stunned and my heart was racing. These questions were about my relationship with Miles. How do you know him? How did you meet? Would you consider yourself friends? Would you consider yourself best friends? How often do you speak with Miles? Would you consider yourself the bestest friends in the whole world? I explained that I could consider Miles as a friend, but that we weren't super close. That we spoke more sparingly prior to his employment at our company, but probably speak on the phone at least weekly now or meet for dinner. Then they hit me hard with, "How long have you known Miles was working for X company and our companies simultaneously?" I was completely speechless. I managed to tell them I had no idea, but they were questioning how I couldn't have known my friend was doing this. I told them I remembered him mentioning having some anxiety about quitting, but I never followed up with that because I assumed he would have quit the other job like you're supposed to. Our new hire and annual training literally touches on this, and Miles took that training. To make matters worse, it's a huge conflict of interest due to our relationship with the company. I got off the call and my head was spinning. I immediately started replaying the last couple of months in my head. How did I miss this? I must be truly stupid because here were the signs. My doctor's office is in the same building as the other employer. I would go every 2 to 3 weeks for my chronic condition. Miles would sometimes ask me about how I was doing with my condition and when my next treatment would be. I thought he was being a good friend. Nope. He was giving his employer excuses to leave work on those days so I wouldn't see his car.
Oh, wait. No, I don't think I understand. Is he saying that he is going to this other company and Opie has like a doctor's appointment at that company?
So his doctor's appointment is in the same building as the other employer.
Okay, gotcha.
So I think that's what it is. So he didn't want
OP to see his car and
working
figure out
for
that
the other employer,
the company.
Yeah, so he was asking about his treatments, so he knew when his doctor's appointments were.
That's crazy.
There's probably a reason to this, but I don't know.
Presumably, I'd hope he was getting more money for 2 jobs.
The only thing I can imagine is like something government related or like some sort of like competing law firm or something where they like can't know the secrets, or you can have a lawyer spy or something. I don't even know. But another example, he was insisting to pay for our dinner multiple times when our household income was at least 2 times higher. He also was telling me he felt like his training wasn't the best. He felt like people weren't available to answer his questions, because he was juggling 2 9-to-5 jobs. So what an inconvenience that folks didn't immediately respond to him while he was taking a quick parking lot break. So I guess that might be what it is. It's just that they're both full-time jobs in the same time period.
And yeah,
that would be a problem. Yeah. Another bullet point is being super interested in learning how to use his work phone hotspot so he could work from his patio. He was using it to work from his other job and didn't think IT would notice that much data was being used so consistently. Here's the details on how this was initially discovered. We had a company event and a group photo was taken. It was posted by a coworker on social media. Ooh, the dangerous internet. Someone at Miles' initial workplace saw the photo and said, "Wait, I know him." He had told his workplace that there was a family emergency and then proceeded to get dressed up and attend our company event. I told my partner about what happened and we had a long conversation. We both agreed we didn't want this to affect the relationship between my partner and Miles' spouse, but that my integrity and reputation coming into question at my workplace was not cool. Someone that could live this double life for 2 months and lie to me the entire time is not a friend. So after much internal debate on whether or not I should call Miles out for his behavior, I decided to send him a long text. I needed him to know how terrible this made me feel and what it could have done to my career. I told him that I can't be acquainted with him anymore, and he responded with an apology and said it was his anxiety. So
I didn't know how to tell them that I wasn't. They said I had to quit the other job, but I didn't know how to quit the other job because I didn't want to make them feel bad. So I just never did that.
Yeah. Maybe he wanted 2 incomes. Maybe he was scheming.
It's like that New Girl clip where Schmidt's like, I'm still dating both of them.
Oh, yeah.
And Nick's like,
he's like, you can't have 2 wives. He planned to quit the other job, but he was just waiting for the right time, and it never felt like the right time. That's like breaking up with someone.
I don't know. I just started dating someone else because it was really hard and it was never the right time. And I thought they would be mad.
Yeah, I was gonna do it, I promise. I empathize with anxiety and depression because I struggle with them daily. I let him know that I get it, but I still have to stick with my boundaries. This was the last time we spoke. Since then, I found out that his spouse never found out the truth of what transpired.
This man has too many secrets.
His spouse refers to it as their drama, and I don't want to be involved, but told my partner entirely different details. The spouse has no idea that Miles was still working at his other job. Miles told his spouse that he was fired for working weekends at his dad's auto shop. Interesting. He lied and completely downplayed what he did to make it seem like an injustice. And now I found out that anyone Miles speaks with about the situation thinks I'm an a-hole for ending the friendship. My partner and I have not refuted any of this with Miles' spouse or others because we don't want to participate in the drama, nor do we want to violate Miles' privacy. Reddit, I ask you this because in the past I've been told I'm too quick to shut people out, that I don't have enough patience with others, and my sense of justice is too much. So am I the a-hole? And there is an edit, but what's our answer right now, Sophia?
No, he lied to you and also his partner. Yeah, he's still lying. He almost lost you your job because of his lies.
I agree. Not cool. I understand not wanting to be in the drama, but I feel like if you don't want to lose these friends, like tell people the truth because Miles is sabotaging you. But here is our edit. I forgot to mention that Miles was fired from both companies after the investigation. I was cleared, have a great relationship with my manager, and recently accepted a better position. Congratulations. A lot of folks are saying I am the a-hole for not telling spouse. Trust me, I want to tell the spouse. When it didn't happen to come up, once when my partner and the spouse were hanging out, the spouse had all the wrong details but said that they didn't want to get involved in the drama. My partner respected that. However, I've taken everyone's comments constructively and plan to speak with my partner about this again. Maybe we can invite the spouse over for dinner one evening and get it over with. I'll let everyone know how this goes. And there is another update.
Yeah, man, oh man. I mean, I guess, I don't know fully how, if you should go and tell that partner and stuff, everything. Because I think maybe it's easier to just like not get involved unless he's going to your mutual friends.
Yeah.
And like telling lies and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot easier to accept that like this guy that's like lying is like bad person, and if you're not that close with his spouse, then like that might be easier for you to let go of. But if your spouse OP is like having trouble with the friendship, or the other spouse is like, you know, thinking bad thoughts of you, then like then you'd want to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how close you are to this the wife.
But as for our update, OP says, "Hey folks, sorry for the long wait and wish I had a moment to share. We're parents and have been busy with year-end things for their school and prepping for vacation. I also got promoted at work and was transitioning roles. By the way, we always have a moment to share with you all of these other stories when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitch, all of it. We're probably live literally right now.
Go check in 1 second.
But there's a bit more in some comments. Let's just jump right into it. My partner received a call from Miles' spouse this week who basically asked what it would take for Miles and I to reconcile. My partner said, well, Miles should probably start by apologizing, to which the spouse seemed confused. They agreed a discussion is needed. More to come. And we have some comments. Amy467 says, WTF, not only are you not the a-hole, but Miles needs some serious therapy to get him to the point where he stops letting his anxiety prevent him from adulting. Like, all the hoops he jumped through to make 2 jobs at once work for 2 months is a lot of work, and it would have been so much simpler for him to just tell his boss that he quit. As for the lies he is telling friends, you need to stop protecting him and tell them the real reason that you're not friends anymore. A little truth would go a long way to fix that. Actually, he almost lost me my job by lying about working for both my company and ex-company at the same time for months. I can't be friends with someone who would selfishly nuke my livelihood like that. And OP responds, I honestly think my partner has avoided having his friend over for fear that I might word vomit. It's been hard to keep to myself, but on the other hand, I don't feel like it will do any good. And that's it.
Woo.
That's all we got.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you necessarily have to rehash it out with Miles, but I think if your partner and his partner have like a good relationship or had a good relationship, maybe truth sharing can go on there. But that is the end of that story. My best friend didn't speak to me for 7 years. Now she's back as if nothing happened. And she's like, hey girl, everyone's alive, right? We've got Vision and the Avengers. My friend from college, we were best friends and inseparable. We had so many great memories, could talk about anything, did pretty much everything together. By the way, this comes from grateful to be here on the OK Storytime subreddit. So it was mutual on both ends. We never fought, and I was under the impression everything was good. I think that's why it came as such a huge shock. After we graduated, she stopped answering my calls, texts, messages on Facebook. She would just heart it and not reply. I was crushed. I had sent her a message on Facebook and asked if I had done anything or said anything wrong, and if I did, definitely not intentional because I have always cared for her. No response. It went like this for 7 years. It honestly broke my heart. I kept replaying everything in my head to try to see if there was something could have been misunderstood. Did I say something unknowingly? I was heartbroken, felt abandoned, And the worst part was not knowing or being given an answer. After 7 years, one of our mutual friends, who she was still in touch with, gave me her new number. So I reached out and said, hey, just wanted you to know you've been missed. If I said or did anything unknowingly, I'm sorry. She said, oh, you know how technology is. So many people have said they have tried to reach me, but I wasn't getting any of the messages. Yet she was hearting them. Such a stupid, lame excuse.
That really is.
I kind of freaking hate when people are like, to a certain extent, you can be bad at technology or like bad at responding to messages, because everyone is.
If you're gonna lie, at least be good at it.
Now, for the past few months, she's been going about as if this never happened and has been buddy-buddy. I'm happy she's back in my life, but I'm starting to realize, no, this was not cool. You don't just walk out of someone's life for 7 years, chalk it up to technology, and then act like we're all good. It's hard because I love her and want to be friends, but I'm like, is she just going to walk out again for 7 years with no explanation and some bogus excuse? I'm still hurt because I don't feel like I've gotten a real answer. And hey, she was still in touch with her mutual friends for all those years. A few of them ended up having a fallout with her in the past year. And then she needed me and started writing back because she didn't have other friends. And I'm starting to realize that maybe that's not a real friend. It is not. I thought about just being like, look, technology was working just fine when you were talking/hanging out with our other friends. Like, spill. What's the real reason you stopped talking to me? Because you know what? That crap hurt. What are your thoughts on this? Could use some solid advice. Should I just block her and move on with my life? I don't know what to do. And there are some relevant comments and an update. But I think regardless of whether or not you're going to continue this friendship, I think you do need to have that conversation with her. Because it seems like it's been bothering you.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's like, I mean, she's obviously not going to address it and like she's just going to keep ignoring it. So if you want it to be brought up, then you got to bring it up.
Relevant comments. Vega Solo says, personally, I would confront her. And after she answered, I would tell her that I didn't want to be friends anymore. Opie says, right? Because I'm genuinely pretty hurt. I'm like, you ghost me for 7 years with no explanation. And when I tried to communicate to see if I unknowingly did something, she just wouldn't reply. And all these years later, she's all buddy-buddy and acting like it never happened and it's been all good this whole time. Her excuse doesn't sit well with me. It's like, look, just be real, because right now it feels like I'm not appreciated or valued to just drop me like that and then pick me up again after she had a fallout with a few of other friends. OP added this in the comments. Thanks for the response. What hurt the most was that she was actively engaging/hanging out with our other friends she wasn't even that close to before. She even flew out to see them. So it hurt that I felt singled out when I honestly can't think of what I could have done to just be cut out. Like no response, nothing, until she had no one else anymore. And there is another update, but yeah, the same thoughts. I think you've been in the dark for 7 years and you need this closure.
It's 7 years. This is a long time. Major things can happen in your life in 7 years. You know, jobs, relationships, lots of big stuff.
Update. A few days ago, I posted about how my college best friend ghosted me for 8 years. Edit. OP rehashed the original post, so I edited it out. The answer didn't sit well with me, but I was honestly happy to finally get a response after 8 years. We've been catching up for the past few months, but if I'm honest, the answer seemed like BS. So some fellow Redditors recommended just cutting her off, and some said to confront her straight up. So I confronted her, and she said the truth was one of our mutual friends was in her ear feeding her lies and gossip about me. And after 8 years, she realized that that girl wasn't a true friend and that everything she said about people was a lie and that she wasn't a good person. I'm not sure how to respond. A part of me is like, we were best friends. You know me, my heart, and you believe another friend? Ghost me with no explanation, no response for 8 years over a lie? That is so incredibly frustrating to me. Like someone's whispering in your ear and you don't even double check that. You don't even fact check it.
Part of me was thinking that it's some sort of unresolved drama, but that's even worse where it's like she's not even giving you a chance.
Yeah. I guess I just wish she would have been open to hearing my side. As best friends, had it been the other way around, I would have been like, hey, this was said and I just want to run it by you. She didn't even care to hear my side and found out 8 years too late that none of it was true because that friend started doing that to her too. A part of me is heartbroken that a lie took away 8 years of friendship, Another part of me is like, dude, not even a response or even trying to hear my side. Is she going to do this again? I already have gone through abandonment with my dad, as she knows, and going through this when it's hard to let people in. I trusted her, let her in, and honestly, it crushed me. Being ignored and not knowing why hurts. I'm not sure what to do. Do I cut her off? I'm not sure if it'll ever be the same. I'm just appalled that she dropped me over BS gossip without even hearing my side. 8 years has gone by, and I'm just, what would you do? And if anyone has gone through something similar, would love to hear. And I would love for you guys to join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap her profile. There are some relevant comments to finish this story off. But what would you do if you were in OP's position?
Yeah, I would definitely talk to her and be like, yo, like, I get it that like that friend wasn't cool and she was like lying about me and whatever, but also like you weren't cool. And I feel like it's understandable too, like even besides all that, to just be like, yeah, I mean, we haven't talked in like 8 years. I just don't vibe with you anymore. You know what I mean? Because 8 years is a freaking long time. You were a different person.
You could be a totally different person now. It seems like OP, I mean, does still get along with this person in this new phase of their friendship. But I think the fact that it took her months to tell you the truth about why she stopped being friends with you is just very cowardly.
Right. And I feel like if she like knew that this other friend was like telling lies and stuff and was like, you know, making her not like OP, then it's like, wouldn't you start that friendship again with apologizing?
Hey, I'm so sorry. I had all this information and I shouldn't have listened to it. Yeah, I would start it off with that.
Right. I've done that before after like 3 years. Yeah. I like met someone again and I was like, oh my gosh, hey. Yeah. Sorry, it was a weird time back then. You know what I mean? And then we hung out and then it was chill.
There is a little bit left. Lovely Danny 20 says something like this happened to me. We were best friends from childhood through our earliest 20s. She cut me off for 4 years right when I got married. When she started contacting me again, she claimed she had ghosted me because of her bad mental health. Except she didn't really consider my mental health. She was supposed to be a bridesmaid and instead she ghosted. She also never even reached out when I had my first child. When she tried to rekindle things, I listened to her whole story and didn't interrupt. She said she realized I was one of the best friends she had and blah, 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 blah. But at the end, I said I can't be friends with anyone who would betray me like that. And that was it. I've never spoken to her or really thought about her since. OP says, that part. She didn't consider your mental health. That hit. It took a mental toll on me for years just knowing, replaying our last interactions. I fell into depression for a bit and felt so hurt, betrayed, abandoned, with not even an explanation for 8 years. She said the same thing to me, that she realized I was her truest friend. It's like, oh, how convenient after all these years now that you're alone. FGN 15 says, in your shoes, you can choose the level of your relationship. You don't have to jump straight back to besties. You can be acquaintances first. She doesn't have a right to your time or friendship and honestly has a boatload of work to do to demonstrate a change of heart. If you discover that she's put in the work to make real changes in herself, I think that might be a green light to slowly proceed beyond acquaintances. But honestly, having a dear friend ghost me in a similar way and having fewer F's to give, I hope her life is good, but stay away from me. I don't need that kind of friendship. And OP says, I kind of feel like she came back because she has no more friends. She's dropped some and some have dropped her recently. And OP made a final resolution in the comments. Everything is stupid says, I wouldn't be able to trust someone after they did that. You deserve better. And OP responded, I agree. Thank you all for your input. I ended up telling her I didn't want to move forward with being friends, then blocked her, which I think is the right solution or right answer for OP.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, which I think she figured out. That is the end of that story. I helped with my friend's wedding. Now our friendship is over. Did you do a bad job?
Oh. Yeah, right. The flowers didn't look perfect. How dare you?
My former friend who lives in another state has only dated what she described as bad boyfriends. She said they were sociopaths, users, etc. Maybe we just need to take a little bit more time in the talking, the talking stage.
Yeah,
suss him out a little bit more.
Right.
When she met a new guy who had a very good job, she immediately moved in with him, stopped working, and they got engaged soon after. She's like, he's not like any of the rest of them, so I gotta lock him down.
Right.
By the way, this comes from Intuition777 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, he bought a house and we went to visit. My family felt the guy was unfriendly/off. There was a ton of PDA in front of my child. Ooh. And they would leave us sitting in the living room to go take a nap every day. Yikes.
Oh boy.
She ignored me to the point where I broke down in tears. I had come all the way to visit and she acted like she didn't care.
Wow.
This is a trait of hers. She hugged me and apologized and things improved. When they got engaged, I offered to help because she helped minimally with my wedding 20 years ago. So here's where the drama starts. She was all set on this particular wedding a couple of years back. I helped look at the locations remotely. We discussed menus, the dress, ideas, the whole thing. They were now trying to get pregnant and it was looking like she had infertility issues. He really wanted a family, but they wanted to get married first. He called the wedding off, postponed it to do updates on the house instead, her words. They were still trying to get pregnant and now working on getting an egg donor. I talked all of this out with her, comforted her, etc. I purposely didn't talk about my life much at all because she was going through all this. Please note all of our communication was over text. She told me she didn't like talking on the phone a while ago, so we never, ever spoke on the phone. Only texts and occasional visits when we were in each other's states. In retrospect, I get this was a red flag. Fast forward about a year, and finally they have everything set for her to get pregnant. Still not married. A while later, she got pregnant, and they decide, okay, let's invite our close friends and family for a very small, low-key, low-stress mini wedding, and then maybe have a larger wedding later. The mini wedding is what I help with. All over text, many texts per day. We exchanged tons of photos and messages about this very small, simple, intimate, low-key, and low-stress event, as she was at an advanced age when she got pregnant. She constantly told me how low-key this was as we looked at pretty place settings, menus, talked about decor, dresses, everything. It was so delightful to talk about all of the nice touches, and I hope it took her mind off of fears and her discomfort of being pregnant at an advanced age. The groom did not want anyone staying in his very spacious house for the wedding. She offered to pay for my plane ticket and an Airbnb for all the help. I graciously declined. That's very considerate of her.
Yeah.
So I got my tickets, booked the Airbnb, and then 2 weeks later, found out that the Friday before her wedding was my son's graduation from grade school. An earlier calendar version of the school year had it the following week. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Explanation. But the school board actually changed the calendar and moved it up a few days.
No.
It sounds almost unbelievable, and I'm still upset about that date change. That is stupid.
Yeah.
Rather than being able to fly out early, visit the venue, look at the decor, meet the caterer, and go over everything in person to prepare, I had to be here for my child. She didn't offer another option when I told her about the date change. We were both at a loss about that. So I paid a fortune to change my ticket and flew out right after a ceremony, foregoing all the weekend graduation celebrations, even lunch afterwards. I regret that, especially now. My child should have come first. So I landed Friday night. I have severe altitude sickness, insomnia, and a concerning autoimmune health condition that is being diagnosed right now and is triggered by stress. She knows about the insomnia and has even tried to offer solutions, but probably not the severity of the health issue because I didn't want to burden her with that. She said all along this mini wedding with 20 people or so would be simple and stress-free. Right when I got there, there was drama with his mother, who has full-blown dementia and didn't know why she was there. Ooh,
oh boy. That's hard.
That's really hard.
Yikes.
He, the groom, had no idea his mom had any dementia.
How do you...
That's not something that just like pops up one day.
Yeah.
How did you not know that? So while she was frantic and lost, we were trying to get on with things, I guess. He went out with his friends, but was in a bad state because he didn't know his mom was like this. He was planning to have her be a huge part of taking care of the baby and was going to relocate her to their state. Okay, so while that was going on, she had me, her other attendant, and the two mothers, her mom and his with dementia, try and do a formal rehearsal that night at her house, and then started to explain this DIY design element she wanted me and her other friends to recreate down at the wedding site. We had talked about this DIY thing via text, and I understood and could do it, But she was concerned about it being right. I had created a spreadsheet for her with all the times, and my go time was 9 a.m. Knowing I'd just flown in that night and have a history of insomnia, she changed the time at the last minute. I thought about the new time and realized with the time change in the new states, which is already an hour earlier, I might not be in good shape for that early of a go time. This is not a petty concern. I am working on getting a diagnosis, but without good rest and with an altitude sickness, I get very confused, disoriented. I had bad diarrhea, I pee constantly, can be shaky on my legs, and an emotional mess. It sucks and is private and personal and embarrassing. But if I am rested, I can present myself normally. Her other friend insisted she could handle the design element and had been to the wedding venue. She kept reassuring us she could do it and it'd be a cinch. It was simple after all. If she had not been so confident, I would have pushed somehow to shift the time back to the original 9 a.m. go time to just get it done and get it done right. That is the whole reason I was there, to help. After she changed the setup time, it was agreed that at 9 a.m. I'd be at the bride's house helping her get ready, then go to the location, help her and her other attendant with their makeup there, and also help throughout the rest of the event, which I did. In the evening after the wedding lunch, instead of a reception, they had a baby shower. A couple of the guests seemed off to me. Like, not very nice. Now I know she badmouthed me to them. That's so messed up.
No.
Back home, I sent a text to her to say I thought she looked gorgeous, and it went beautifully. She was short in her reply. A few weeks later, after I got back from a family vacation, I touched base with her again, and just the tone of her text, I realized she was angry with me for not being at the site to do the setup. I immediately wrote a very heartfelt reply explaining what my experience was, and my apologies, etc. It took me 3 hours to write. Oof. She replied with a short, cruel text saying I flaked on her, that I said rude things, she never clarified, that I could not set aside my own needs just for one day, that she could not bear to look at the pictures from the wedding that I kept offering to help, and lesson learned. She then said there was something wrong with the baby, so immediately I dropped all of that and focused on helping her and being there for her. She made it through the delivery and baby is healthy and perfect. I sent gifts and we were on good terms. Then I get a mass email announcing she's throwing herself a large splashy wedding and everyone can come meet the baby. I wrote back saying I thought it would be a really nice event, sending best wishes, etc. No reply from her.
Oof.
Man, oh man. But I think it's really nice that you guys can hear more stories like this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Just search up OK Storytime. Super easy. And there is a little bit left, but yeah, it just seems like she's not willing to hear the reasoning why you couldn't be there. But obviously, you know, it's a little tricky because you made a promise and then had to kind of switch it up. But again, these were things that were out of your control.
Right.
So yeah, it's tricky. And you were there for the wedding. Seems like it went off well.
Yeah. So it's like, this is the most you can do. You know, because you could plan as much as you can to make time for, you know, your friend's wedding. But at the same time, it's like you also have your own things in your life that just come up. And your whole life doesn't stop for that. So you're doing all that you can.
But there is a little bit left. She has displayed microaggressive behavior since then. Yeah, all via text. And when I said I would graciously not be attending the larger wedding, she disregarded my text completely. My last text was asking how her baby was, and she ignored it. I realized this was intentional and finally sent a very firm text message telling her she crossed a line and that I can't have friends like that in my life. Am I the a-hole? And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Honestly, it seems like, again, you there was a scheduling conflict that came up because of your kid.
Right.
You try to be there as much as possible. You spend a lot of money to be there.
Right.
And you apologized, and there's not much more you can do about that.
And so
if she's going to be hurt about that, that's
right.
She's going to be hurt about it.
That's, it's out of your control. And if she's, responding in a way that makes you feel like you can't continue the friendship, then that's just what it is. Some people can't get through some certain conflicts, and that's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, not the a-hole.
No.
I would say. Not the a-hole.
But that is the end of that story.
I ended a 30-year friendship over a missed text.
Doesn't sound like an overreaction to me.
Up until a year ago, I had a long-standing friendship over 30 years with a woman we will call Valerie. Our friendship withstood the test of time, numerous moves, her tumultuous childhood, marriage, divorce, and kids. By the way, this comes from Friendish Curry. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Do it.
Her family is next level self-absorbed person I see, and frankly, if we hadn't grown up together, I don't think I would have believed the level of nastiness that people enacted on their youngest daughter and sibling. Because I knew so much about her and her traumas, I forgave her for a lot and made excuses for her more outlandish behavior. But we got along. There were many board game nights. I planned a surprise birthday, baked cakes, went to bonfires, painted miniatures, babysat her daughter, went on hikes, made handbag gifts, and more.
I wonder what kind of miniatures. I wonder if they were like D&D or Warhammer. Do you buy the plastic crack?
We spoke nearly every weekday. She knew everything about my life, and I knew everything about hers. We were able to talk about our childhoods in a way that only siblings can understand. As time went by, though, some things didn't add up. Valerie is an uber extrovert, the kind of person who thrives on constant attention. She's loud and obnoxious everywhere she goes, and it gets worse when she drinks.
That's why I don't drink that much.
Which is often. Every job she has ever had, all the coworkers eventually loathe her. One job went as far as to not invite her on a work trip that the whole company attended because no one wanted her there, but she did her job well enough that they couldn't find another way to fire her. I also began to notice that Valerie only took my phone calls during the day when she was bored. She never responded to a text or a phone call at night or on the weekend because she was busy hanging out with other people. I live over an hour away. I made justifications for this, telling myself that she was being a present friend and that her hanging out in person with people was more important than taking my phone call. But then I also noticed I wasn't being invited on any trips. When she got engaged, she invited 10 people on the trip, including one of my siblings.
Okay, that's pretty bad. That's pretty whack.
The trip ended up being terrible. Her fault entirely, but the fact that I wasn't even invited really bothered me. She went on numerous beach trips and never invited me to a single one. The same for other special days. In fact, the only thing I was ever invited to was her birthday. But I also let this go because every trip she came back with ridiculous stories and another broken friendship. So I told myself it was a good thing I didn't go, or she knew I wouldn't enjoy it, so she was protecting me somehow. Enter the beginning of our friendship breakup. Valerie suffered a passing of a very young child in January 2024. She was devastated and my heart hurt for her. After a week of medical complications, she was scheduled to go into the doctor for a DNC. Let us know what that means in the comments, since her urine analysis was still showing she was preggo. I drove over an hour to her house the day before to spend it with her. We sat and talked while both working remotely as she processed her emotions. I tried to be a listening ear and a soft shoulder to cry on. The next day, she called me and told me that she was still preggo. They thought that she passed away a twin. I was shocked and overjoyed. I cried happily, tears with her. Then I went on a 5-day vacation where I purposely disconnected and told everyone I was putting my phone down for a few days. When I got back, I sent her an innocuous complaint about my teenager not getting out of bed again. This was how we normally communicated, just general back and forth, picking up where we left off. But something had changed in those 5 days. I should state now that all interaction with her from now until we stopped speaking was via Facebook Messenger. She immediately responded and said that I was being rude. How dare I talk about my stuff without asking her how she was? And she was angry that I missed a text from her. Admittedly, I did see that she had sent me a meme of some sort, but I had not opened it or read it. I hopped over, read the text, responded with a laugh emoji. I also apologized and said I was trying to disconnect and wasn't trying to be dismissive. This is when I got an earful from her stating that she didn't feel like I was a good friend because a good friend would be asking her more questions about how she was doing, how pregnancy was going, what color she was going to paint the nursery.
Dude, it's like, where was any of that energy for me? The friend you are chronically excluding from everything. What do you mean? Are you serious?
She's the queen and she's just using all of her pawns.
Yeah, I wanted to say earlier that it's like the reason you're getting invited to the birthdays is probably because you give her a gift.
I was a bit confused by this considering she had already had one kid and I didn't do that with the last one because she had told me all that stuff on her own. We would chat and she would tell me how she was going to decorate in purple, names she was considering, trips she was planning. I apologized again and explained that I didn't typically ask a million questions of people because it felt intrusive. I kind of figured she would tell me things like she always had. But at this point, she refused to accept my apology and started telling me how I was supposed to respond to things, questions I should be asking, how to respond to a text. This is the type of person that every day something bad happens and they always complain about something.
Explaining how to respond to a text is wild.
Yes. I know how English works.
And you know who the common denominator here is because every time she goes out of town, she comes back with one less friend than she left with. One person comes back after going on a trip with her every time and goes, you know what? I'm done with this person.
Yep, and it looks like it's your turn.
It might be your turn, yeah.
I looked back at her texts and noted how often this woman had ignored my text. Again, I apologized and said I didn't mean to be dismissive and just forgot about it. The next day, I received a grainy video. She was having a gender reveal party. I was not invited. At this point, I was pissed. I responded with a meme in the spirit of that missed text when all heck broke loose. She was furious at my response. How dare I respond to something so important so impersonally? Then she started telling me exactly what I was supposed to say and how I was supposed to say it. I was angry that this woman who had just picked a fight with me expected me to be happy and excited about an event I wasn't even invited to. Yeah, at this point, what do you have to lose in this friendship?
Nothing. You only have something to gain, which is no longer having a monkey on your back.
Yeah.
That's all this friendship is.
I did talk to her for 2 weeks. When she reached out again to ask if we were cool, I told her that most definitely we were not, and telling me that I am a bad friend when I clearly have been a very good friend for years. It is crappy. Thank you. That's when she told me that she doesn't think I'm a bad friend. She just feels like I'm a bad friend. She doesn't think it, she just feels it.
Oh, shut up.
Frankly, I didn't understand the difference. Either way, she was accusing me of being a bad friend. Over what? A missed text message? Screw you. Then she told me that I wasn't validating her feelings and started sending me articles and videos on what validating someone's feelings looks like. Y'all, I've been a foster parent for 9 years. I could probably teach a class on what validating feelings really looks like, particularly for kids. So condescending. The problem wasn't that I wasn't validating her feelings, it was that I disagreed with her. Finally, I asked if we could please just talk, either on the phone or in person.
Did you just get me like that, dude? I was texting my mom.
Finally, I asked if we could just please talk, either on the phone or in person. Surely, if she just heard my voice and realized how sorry I was and how ridiculous she was being, we could reconcile. She refused. She said she needed a record of our conversation. That's when something snapped. Dude. The friendship ended for me in that moment. Was she planning to use this conversation in court? She'd want to throw my words back at me? I was done. That's the last time we spoke. I ended up writing her a letter as a one-ditch effort at the urging of several friends who all wanted things to be rectified because we were so close for so long. I assume she received it because she sent me a message but deleted it before I saw it. In August, after speaking to my therapist, I decided to unfriend her on all socials. I unfriended her fully because I realized 2 things. 1, the drama she brings into people's lives is not okay, and I have been putting up with it simply because she was my oldest friend, and I would never allow anyone I met today to treat me like the way she does. 2, I didn't miss her. I've missed having someone to talk to daily, but I didn't miss her. I would never choose to be friends with her again. I heard through the grapevine that she was very upset about this. She called in October, but I let it go to voicemail, and she didn't leave a message. Probably just checking to see if I had blocked her. I haven't. I wouldn't have mind talking to her again, but the friendship is over. And after this story, our friendship will not be over. It cannot be over.
It would never. At least for 48 consecutive days, it will not be over.
Do these 3 steps. 1, go to your favorite podcast platform. 2, search up what?
Okay, story time.
3, press play and listen to how many freaking days of content?
48.
Yes, 48. And we have a little bit more. I like
leave your trash friends in the past.
And kind of considering, I like this way of considering what have I like gained, what have I lost. You freed up so much more mind space. I have only had one other true friendship breakup. That was with a relatively new friend. Losing a friend of 30 years has been hard. Even with all of her drama, she was my friend. We had so many inside jokes. Feels crazy to lose a friend over a missed text and not asking more questions about nursery colors, but my life has been so much calmer without her in it. This is the first time I've shared this in any public way, but it feels good to write out. Valerie, I love you. I don't miss you. I hope you can figure out a way to be a better person so your kids don't have to suffer the way you did.
Dang.
Boom.
Big facts.
Big fackarunos.
Big
Valerie,
facts.
be better.
I love you. I don't miss you is a crazy bar.
Yeah,
That's wild.
it is well.
Yeah. And that's actually a great example of like how to maturely, emotionally compute something like that. It's like just because you're no longer friends with somebody doesn't mean you have to like hate them and be their absolute enemy. Yeah. I was ghosted by my crush, but now he's haunting me.
Whoa. Just like a ghost does best, right?
He's a perfect ghost. I, 27 female, recently found out that my boyfriend, male 32, Mark, is friends with my online friend, Jeff, male 31. I have a Facebook account, which I just used for memes and tagged my friends and family in. Yes, I still use it. Over time, I began to add people and accept friend requests from other people, some who I don't even know. And by the way, this comes from user Entire Scheme 6120 from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And if you want to submit your stories, go submit them there.
Woo!
So, I don't accept everyone's requests, as I sometimes don't check them. I still have requests from people dating that go back years. I don't accept everyone, and as some people, mostly guys, like to message me, and I don't reply back. I don't even know when I had Jeff send me a request. But anyway, since I don't have Messenger, I don't receive pop-ups like other apps, so I have to go in the message tab to check who sent me the messages. About last year, Jeff sent me a message. Since I don't have those pop-up notifications, I didn't know that he had sent one. He sent one in January, which I didn't see, and one again in February, which again, I did not see. I only saw the message he sent in March. At first, I was going to tell him that I have a boyfriend and don't talk to guys because my boyfriend didn't like that, which I didn't even have one back then. But I decided to continue the conversation to be nice. We exchanged numbers and we started talking on WhatsApp. I didn't know that Jeff and I would get along so well. Before long, we were talking daily and phoning each other daily. He lived about 30 minutes away from me in another city. Jeff and I really got along, and it felt nice for once, since most guys I've dated were dummies. It felt very refreshing. I liked Jeff, and we planned on meeting up, but I chickened out because of my insecurities. It do be like that, though, sometimes.
Yeah.
I was a bit overweight and needed to lose some weight, but I was lazy and exercising stinks. I started gymming last year, but I wasn't consistent, so no results yet. Jeff and I talked for about 3 months, and I get you can get bored talking to someone and you need to put a face to their voice. Although we do know what each other look like, Jeff was a dork like me and very funny. Like I said, I liked the guy, but then something happened. Jeff stopped replying.
Uh-oh, what's going on there?
Jeff's pulling a little Danny Phantom on you right now.
Ooh.
This is a major turnoff to me, but I know that life can get hectic. But these days turned into weeks, and he would send a message once a week or reply to my WhatsApp status. This sucked because I really thought he liked me too, so I was ghosted apparently with no reason. It felt weird, and maybe he got a girlfriend or something. I don't know. Then a couple of months of only communicating once a week or so, I decided I wasn't going to reply to any messages that he sent. The infatuation simmered away, and I didn't care that he wouldn't send a reply to my messages anymore. When he sent a message, I didn't even open it. I just deleted it.
Good for you.
Oh, yeah.
That's hard to do sometimes. Good job.
Said, deleted.
Done.
Honestly, that is my number one ick. Since, like I said, I struggle with insecurities, thoughts of him making fun of me or laughing about me went through my mind, though I don't make it known or other people's problems but my own. Jeff did send 3 more messages after that, but I never opened them. It was all just replies to my statuses. I started to focus on myself. I went to the gym regularly and started having healthier habits. I got my life in order since I was a procrastinator and very disorganized. This was my New Year's resolution, and the results have been amazing. I started feeling amazing for myself, and my life seemed better. I was depressed before, but no longer. In the new year of 2024, Mark followed me on Instagram. and I followed him back. I don't have a lot of followers, but I saw that he follows people I know personally, and they follow him as well. He sent me a DM, and we continued to talk. He also happened to be living in the next town and asked me out on a date, which went amazing, and we had a great time. We started seeing each other more regularly, mostly on weekends because we both work 9 to 5, and between work and the gym and my part-time work in the evening, I was tired on weekdays. That work-life balance do be hard to come by.
Absolutely.
But weekends, I was free. He met my family and I met his, and then he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said yes. My girl, you want to be my girlfie? My goify? So he met my friends, and I hadn't met his yet because I was busy the times that they weren't, and they also work, which is good. We should all be working, right?
Yeah.
We all need to work. To earn our place. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Mark decided to have a gathering at his place last Saturday, and I took my friend along. She knows about Jeff, but I never showed her a photo. And at the gathering, he said that his friend was running late. Then I went to the bathroom for a while. When I was in there, I heard some commotion and knew that someone had come in through the front door. I was in the bathroom near the front door. And when I came out, because he was walking in, I knew it was him. We haven't met, but I saw pictures of him. I was stunned and could not move. I ran back into the bathroom in distress and called my friend on my phone in the bathroom to come in there. And she came in and I told her that it was Jeff.
Oh my God.
It was Jeff.
Jeff out there.
Oh,
That's him.
I didn't know what to do, honestly. He knew what I looked like, and although I had lost weight and looked different, I still posted pics of what I looked like now. So then my insecurity started to creep in. I was suspicious of my boyfriend. Honestly, I started to think that they were pranking me or using me. Was this a coincidence? I think not. I felt like throwing up, thinking that they would be using me and seeing who can sleep with her first or meet her. And that's why Mark followed me on Instagram and messaged me. Dang, girl. Pause.
Whoa.
Pump those brakes.
Spiraling over here, man.
You were okay, all right?
It's okay.
Wonder, something had to have happened. I'm sorry for whatever it was that has given you this, the fear, that has put the fear in you. But, it's understandable, I'm sure, in some way. But
sure, you're fine.
There's not really much that you need to do here. I mean, it would be a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
Jeff's a guy who you talk to.
Right.
And you stopped talking to him.
Exactly.
And he stopped talking to you pretty much as well.
Yeah,
so it's like
start the stop talking?
Right. He started the pullback. He started to pull back.
Yeah.
You also pulled back. I don't know.
If it was a contest, he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, everything's... Yeah. If it was a contest, exactly.
It would be like... I've never seen the movie, but 10 Things I Hate About You, I'm assuming. Because I know the premise, right?
We stayed in the bathroom for 10 more minutes, and Mark sent me a message. By that time, I'd already been in the bathroom for like 15 minutes, and the only thing that I could think of to do was to update my WhatsApp status with a video I took earlier. It was in the backyard of Mark's house, and I knew that Jeff would recognize it as we were all chilling there. Before long, I saw that Jeff sent me a message asking me where I am. I didn't reply and just went out to the backyard. When my friend and I returned, Mark came up to me, grabbed me by my arm, and introduced me to Jeff. I acted like I didn't know him, smiled, and said hello. He looked stunned. Throughout the evening, Jeff was looking at me and trying to start a conversation, and I ignored him, but subtly, so that no one knows but me. I don't know, girl. I think maybe the 25 minutes in the bathroom, or 15 to 20 minutes in the bathroom, could have given it away a little, right?
Yeah.
No? Perhaps?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like she's in here thinking like, okay, I'm going to like trick them. I'm going to say that I'm like in the backyard, but I'm actually in here. And then I'm just going to go in the backyard, act super chill. And they're like seeing this whole thing happen. And they're like, so I saw you go into the bathroom 15 minutes ago, post this thing, and then just like walk out and like now you're acting like, like it's just so like, it's okay. You can chill out a little bit.
All this is fine.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, Jeff is a guy you talked to months and months ago. Now you're with this guy. You just met his parents. And so he's friends with Jeff. It'll be like, oh my God, you won't believe it. I was talking to him. I talked to him for a little bit.
And then he ghosted me.
So nobody knows but me. I didn't enjoy my evening and I just wanted to go home. I was originally supposed to sleep over, but I couldn't bear to be in my boyfriend's presence. I wanted to leave as quickly as I could. Mark could see this, caught on to it later in the evening. When I left, I didn't say goodbye to his other friends and went home with my friend. The ride home was quiet because my thoughts were running wild. When I got home at around 8 p.m., Mark sent me a message asking me if I'm home, and I didn't reply. The next day, he sent another message and phoned, but I didn't reply and never answered. I didn't put my phone off because I need to use my phone. Now, I have not talked to Mark as of yet. And Jeff sent me another message. It's been a couple of days, and now I'm sitting here thinking of breaking up with Mark and blocking him.
Ooh.
But I don't know what to do. I feel like my life is spiraling out of control, and there is an edit here. Jeff and I may not have met up, but we did send some spicy texts. I was being a human one day, and I told him everything that I wanted to do,
Ooh.
and vice versa.
Whoa.
And I don't do that, but it felt nice, and the anticipation of meeting up fueled that. I initiated it all, but he was into it. I felt awkward seeing Jeff and thinking that he knows so much about me and what we discussed. It almost felt like meeting your ex who's friends with your boyfriend. We didn't exchange pictures. Should I tell Mark or just break it off?
What? You want to break up with Mark just because you talked to his friend?
So of course you should tell Mark.
Yeah.
Of course you should talk to Mark and be like, hey, so weird thing.
Yeah.
Me and Jefferoski over there, we've got a little bit of history.
Right. If you make it a big deal, it's going to be a big deal. But if you bring it up, just like, hey, by the way, so weird, so random. I talked to Jeff. I did actually meet him. I just didn't know how to react in that situation. We talked. Nothing happened.
Right.
You can ask him about it. He'll say
Open,
nothing happened.
Honest. We've sent some spicy messages.
Yeah.
We exchanged colorful words.
Right.
Through text,
no
but
pictures, no visuals.
never even met up.
Yeah.
But I think we need the root of this though is addressing where these thoughts and feelings are coming from. Here's the update. It is the following week after the gathering, and I haven't spoke to Mark in 3 days. I got back to work and was swamped for a couple of days, and like I said in my post, I work a 9 to 5, so I'm always tired once I get home. I don't usually see Mark during the week because I'm mostly tired and lazy, and once I get home and my head hits the bed, I'm out like a light. But we usually talk a lot on the phone. By Wednesday, I was feeling bad that I hadn't replied back, so I sent him a message to meet up, and we met at a cafe because I was scared if we met at his place that I would be booted out if the meeting turned sour. We couldn't meet at my place because I live with my family and we wouldn't have any privacy. I told Mark about Jeff and that I knew him, kinda, and how we were friends and about our conversations, etc. I also told him that I kinda liked him, but he had ghosted me. Told him about how I felt and how we were planning on meeting up and such. I also told him that seeing Jeff for the first time and finding out that they were friends really threw me for a loop. I basically told him how I felt and how I thought that maybe they were pranking me and such. Mark was basically quiet the whole time, which I appreciated. He's a great listener and would usually just intervene when needed. It's nice to have someone to talk to without interruptions. He asked me if there was something going on between Jeff and me at this moment, and I said no.
There you go.
He also told me that Jeff hasn't spoken to him either. He felt hurt as well, since I was ignoring it. Then he told me that he didn't think he could be with someone who runs away, which I usually do when stuff hits the fan, and I was ready for him to leave me, and in that moment, I felt think that I wanted to break up with him in the first place, and I was scared of losing him. I felt dumb, but I was ready for the consequences. I also didn't want to get in between his friendship with Jeff, but when he took hold of my hand, in that moment, all I felt was love.
This is beautiful. Oh my gosh. And then they get married and then a 2000 song starts playing.
Yeah.
Something
like Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said that he never knew that I knew Jeff like that and that we would work through whatever. He still called me out because of my actions, and now I have to make it up to him by baking him cupcakes. That's perfect. Look, so we're being held accountable.
Yeah.
We're taking things on as a team.
Yeah.
I like that he's not just you're perfectly fine and did nothing wrong, because it's was a little questionable chain from his perspective, certainly what the heck's going
Hiding
on
in the bathroom.
From your perspective though, OP, it's you've got all this stuff going on in your head, you're insecure, you're am I being set up?
A lot going on
clearly something happened in the past that it's neither here nor there, but this is right where we want to be, baby.
Exactly.
Look what happens when we have clear communication.
Exactly.
He's also the one that encouraged me to speak to Jeff and told me to work out whatever issue there is between us. So Mark and I are fine at the moment. Now, Jeff was something else. The following day, I sent Jeff a message. I asked him about his day, etc. Then he called me up and I answered. He asked if I was really going out with Mark, and I said yes. He asked me if Mark was the reason that I wasn't responding to his messages, and I told him that he was the reason. He being Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't replying to my messages and ignoring me. And I also told him that he made me feel insignificant after I basically bared myself to him, and I felt that I didn't need people in my life who don't reciprocate feelings, even after I've been trying to establish communication. Then he told me the truth.
Uh-oh.
He didn't reply to my messages because he liked me and didn't want to get attached because he was hurt in the past. He thought that if he didn't reply, then he wouldn't feel anything for me anymore. But when I didn't respond to his messages, I was hurt. And for clarity, I would send messages and he would only read them, but reply to my statuses. When I sent messages after his reply, he would only read them. The next week, he would reply to my status, no reply afterward. Then the same week or 2 weeks thereafter, the same thing. I sent a response afterward with no reply. He also told me that seeing me with his friend hurt him and he would rather distance himself because he can't see me being with his friend. He said that it was supposed to be him, which is low-key a pretty wild thing to say about someone you never met. Not gonna lie. They'd never met up.
Yeah.
They'd only texted. Me personally, I don't feel anything for him. So I don't know where I stood. I don't know if he's going to continue to talk to Mark and I don't want to come between their friendship. That was the gist of our conversation. So I don't know where I stand with Jeff and if he's going to talk to Mark and me. But by the way, you can listen and you could talk as well, but we can't hear you. To full episodes with stories like this on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. And there you will find just a beautiful mountain spring flowing with stories and good vibes and crazy, juicy drama. The only person in this story that I feel may not need therapy is Mark.
Yeah, Mark is just like in the middle of all of this.
Yeah,
It's
Mark
like,
seems like pretty like took that well. He's like, hey, I don't like the way that you kind of like disappeared and didn't talk to me for 3 days.
Yeah.
However, now that you've explained, I get it. That was weird. We'll work through this.
Yeah.
I don't like Jeff being like, I can't see you being with Mark because it should have been me. It's like kind of like
Yeah, very
possessive,
dramatic.
a little ownership-y, a little like
Get over it. Sorry.
it's like an idealization of like the situation. And clearly like Jeff's got to work through that in some way. And OP sort of, I'm just going to cut him off, not talk to him, or like, I'm going to pull off. Are they making fun of me? Like,
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily like, coming from a place of nothing, but you can't let that get in the way. Okay, so let's finish this story off. Thank you, everyone, for your responses. I appreciated it when people told me to bite the bullet and just confront Mark and Jeff. If not for your responses, I wouldn't have done that and would have rather blocked both guys. I'm glad I put this on Reddit. I didn't want to bother my friends with my issues because they would have constantly asked me about the situation, and the less they know, the better. My friend, whom I told also, just told me to talk to the guys, but she's also busy, so I haven't met up with her this week. And that is the end of that story.
My best friend complained constantly at my wedding, so I'm kicking her out.
If you're complaining about my wedding, you're not going to see it.
At all. So my husband, 33 male, we'll call him Nathan, and I, 32 male, got married in November. We decided on a very small and intimate elopement in Colorado with my son, 6 male. Nathan's pastor, his 2 best friends, the groomsmen, a few of the church friends that took care of the instrumentals, lighting, and video, and my ex-best friend, drama,
Spoilers.
who will call Karen my maid of honor. By the way, this comes from Little Bo Ganja. If you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I booked a beautiful Airbnb cabin for our stay. It had a stunning master bedroom and enough guest beds for the bridal party to stay free of charge.
Ooh.
Nathan paid for the entire Airbnb by himself since I paid for my dress and plane tickets for myself and my son. Nathan also paid for the food that they stocked the Airbnb with before we got there. Now, Karen and I have been best friends for nearly 18 years. Karen is a self-absorbed person. Karen is also very much dependent on the green. And I'm fairly sure she's undiagnosed bipolar or something, because the way this woman can go from 0 to 100 witch mode is both shocking and appalling. Her husband gets the brunt of it, and I feel so bad for him. We have stayed friends with her for that long because I'm a recovering people pleaser, and I knew I was the only friend she had left. So I felt bad and stayed in contact, hanging out only when she asked, which became much less frequent over the years. Truthfully, I wasn't even going to invite her to be part of my wedding, but at one point, her children's birthday parties about 2 months prior, she asked me when was the next time I was going to Colorado, where my husband lives, because we were doing LDR. We live together now. What's LDR? Long distance relationship. This is when I spilled the beans about the wedding, and then she said she was coming with me because she needed a vacation away. I was not thrilled, but figured at least I'd have someone to stand on my side now. But you want that one? You want that person? You want that person to be your maid of honor? That's crazy. That's like a sacred position in the...
Yeah. You don't got anyone else?
I should mention, when we texted about it afterwards, I asked her if there was anything in particular you'd like to do or go see, since it would be her first time in Colorado. She responded saying she didn't care that we could do anything I wanted, since it was my wedding weekend, that it should be all about me and Nathan, and that she'd be fine to just hang out in the Airbnb and watch my son if we wanted to go do stuff on our own or something that she didn't want to do, like go hiking. She made up all these different excuses as to why she couldn't hike and gave me some serious attitude when I tried suggesting solutions and ways for her to join us on the hike to make it more comfortable for her. So Opie's trying to include her, and she's like, no.
Hiking stinks.
Hiking stinks. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Literally nothing strenuous at all. And I offered her ample clothing for warmth. Again, why are you trying to include someone who's so obviously...
Yeah, the worst.
Yeah, exactly. The worst. I was simply trying to make sure she felt included, but I was met with, "Are you stupid?" types of responses with major attitude. Remember this for later. So I think we're going to get some... Yeah.
I can't forget it.
Anyways, a week prior to the trip, Karen asked me to have Nathan get her little green puff vape for when we get off the airplane, because she said, the moment I get in the car, I need it because my anxiety will be through the roof after dealing with the airport. I mentioned it to Nathan a few times over the week, but his busy schedule didn't allow him time to go to the dispensary, which was 40 plus minutes out of the way. Karen was livid that there would be no substances ready for her. Nathan assured her we would stop on the way to the Airbnb and she could pick up whatever she wanted. What Karen failed to mention until we pulled up to the dispensary was that her driver's license was expired, so she tried to go in and was even more pissed when the woman at the desk turned her away. She got back in the car and screamed at me that this is why he needed to get the vape before I got here, as if this was our fault and our problem. So we're already off.
Just tell her
to
to
a
leave.
Great start. Why
is she still
is she
here?
here? Nathan went into the dispensary and accidentally got the wrong thing, so I went in with him second time and tried to get the arrow cartridge she was talking about. I must have misunderstood or got my wires crossed when she was screaming like a banshee about not having the vape pen ready for her when she got off the plane, because I thought she said she had her arrow battery in her bag, but apparently it was at home and this dispensary did not have batteries in stock. She became even more irate, so Nathan went back in one final time to get her a different disposable vape. As we drove to the grocery store for snacks, I took a deep breath, hoping since the beast had her substance and was about to get a Snickers bar, she would finally calm down.
And the only reason I'm saying addiction is because she's screaming at people.
Yeah.
I feel like there are definitely different ways of reacting.
We go inside and I'm just browsing, chilling, and picking out my snacks when she starts to become visibly annoyed with how long I'm taking. We weren't in the store for more than 10 minutes at this point, so I head to the checkout line and pay while Nathan goes to use the bathroom, since it's a 45-minute drive to the Airbnb. And can you guess who was pissed off to wait for him? So now we get to the Airbnb. The good old boys, the groomsmen, are cooking dinner and waiting to help us get inside, since it had snowed at least a foot that day. The steep driveway wasn't plowed for Nathan's vegan car to drive up. His words, not mine. The boys grabbed our bags and drove us up the driveway in one of their trucks. More context, both the groomsmen are military friends of Nathan, who is an 8-year Army veteran for himself. And friend A is happy, cheery sweetheart, who I adore as my son's new uncle. Watching him and my son play warmed my heart so much that I could have burst from joy. Friend B, we'll call him Cal, is much more reserved and quiet, a darker personality. He's been through a lot and struggles with depression, but he's a good guy at heart, and we love him no matter what. I made sure Karen knew and thought she understood that if Cal doesn't talk to her or respond or show much interest in things, not take it personally, and said, please don't get offended. It's not you. It's a him thing. Cal was actually the one making us dinner that night. Cal also helped shovel the porch area so we could get inside the cabin. And it was Cal who drove his truck to help us get up the hill. Friend A also helped, of course, but Cal did a lot. So thank yous were in order. Karen became offended the very first night when Cal didn't say, you're welcome, after she said thank you for dinner.
I said thank you and he didn't even say you're welcome.
How dare you? You should say thank you for my you're welcome.
Yeah, she probably like sneezed and someone forgot to say.
Yeah. I assured her Cal didn't acknowledge anyone's thank you, even mine. It's just how he is. I reminded her not to take offense because it's not personal. She didn't accept this. The next day was our rehearsal at church, but Karen said she needed to get a pair of warm boots since all she bought was a pair of boat shoes and her dress shoes. She knew there would be snow, so I don't understand why she didn't pack for the weather we'd be in. But we made the adjustment. Originally, she said, I don't care where we go. We could go to Walmart and I'll just find any pair of boots because my feet are freezing and my shoes are wet. Then at some point, she started asking what place sells Uggs. Nathan didn't know off the top of his head, so I did my best to search on my phone. As we started driving, I saw Walmart and told Nathan to pull in, so he parks. We get out of the car, start walking towards the door, and suddenly, Karen no longer just wants some cheap pair of Walmart boots. No, they must be Uggs. Karen needs Uggs. Yeah, no free sponsors.
Uggs.
She made sure I knew how stupid I must be to think she would wear poor people knockoff Uggs from Walmart. Annoyed and biting my tongue, we set off for one of the locations that my phone says sells Uggs. We get there, they don't have them, so she's mad. We end up going to the mall that's much further away because they would 100% have them. And I just wanted her to stop with the attitude. But even though she got her Uggs, she still found things to complain about before even leaving the mall. I don't know what's up with this because this person sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's this behavior sucks. This is behavior that you don't invite to one of your most momentous moments.
This type of behavior should catch a flight back to wherever it came from.
This behavior should be uninvited from the wedding.
This behavior is not the type of behavior you want as in your maid of honor.
100%. Get this behavior out of here.
Yeah.
So now we get to the church rehearsal and everything seemed fine until Karen walked up to me and starts complaining about Cal again, telling me she thanked him when he held out the door open for her. So the least he could do is effing respond. She went on to say, it's not my fault. He's so effed in the head. Well, don't make him more effed in the head by complaining and being annoying. At this point, I was livid, practically biting through my tongue. And I knew our friendship was over after this weekend.
That was the moment?
Yeah.
Not anything else?
I told myself to just be nice, get through the weekend, and never speak to her again after she goes home. I have dealt with her behavior much like this for the full 18 years we've been friends. It caused many fights, but I had always found a way to forgive her. Like I said, I am a recovering people pleaser. I have been working hard to stand up for myself and less self-absorbed person because behaviors out of my life are the root. And that night, a switch just flipped in me. And I no longer cared to make her happy anymore. I just wanted to enjoy my wedding weekend and be done with her. The next day was my wedding. We were getting ready in the church bathroom and I gave her a corsage that matched my bouquet. I noticed she still had her Apple Watch on her other wrist as she was finished getting ready. So I simply said as nicely as possible, "Oh, don't forget to take that off before we go out," pointing to her watch. Her response was instantly nasty, 0 to 100, saying, "I'm not taking this off. I have 3 kids at home. There's no way I'm going to be this far from them with no contact. You might as well have thought I slapped her across the face and told her to leave her phone at the Airbnb for the whole day, not just a tech-free 30-minute wedding ceremony." She's like, don't have a phone at the wedding for 30 minutes. How dare you? Yeah. What if one of my kids is choking? What if one of my kids is
Sam told me
drowning?
To put my phone on the phone box.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Good. I'm fine.
Fine.
What if I have to check on my children?
After angrily texting her husband, she ends up switching the watch to her other wrist and tucking it under the corsage. I'm sure he mentioned this to her since he was a good head on his shoulders. Like, why did this have to be so dramatic? The ceremony goes beautifully, and we all stand around talking for a bit before getting ready to go to the brewery we reserved for our dinner and the cake cutting. I told them I needed to pin up the train of my dress before we go, so I go into the big stall to take off my dress and pin up the train since only I knew how to do it. And meanwhile, Karen went into the other stalls to take off her dress and put on some jeans and a sweatshirt. I honestly would not have cared if she wanted to wear that to her little reception, but when I came out, she saw I was still in my dress and she flipped out, screaming at me, asking why I was still wearing my wedding dress and claiming that I told her I was changing into something else. I told her I never said that and stated I told both her and my son separately, but in front of her as I entered the stall, that I was just pinning up my train so it wasn't dragging on the floor while we go eat dinner. I was very specific in my wording, especially as I explained it to my son while she was standing 4 feet away. Karen storms back into the stall, slams things, putting her maid of honor dress back on. Again, why is this person here? I don't understand how you didn't see how this behavior is just not worthy of your life.
It's a Make-A-Wish.
A Make-A-Wish. She's a Make-A-Wish kid.
Yeah, but
Her
like,
final wish. Yeah, but for
anxiety.
friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, your last wish as my friend of 18 years and soon to be ex-friend.
It's like whenever you're about to like get rid of a friend, you have to do like a Make-A-Wish for them.
Yeah, it's like it's like your dog's last day before you put him down. It's like, we're gonna give you the best food.
Best weekend ever.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a big walk.
Yeah.
And then boom.
She's like, I
done.
want to go walk.
Karen storms back into the stall, slamming things and putting her maid of honor dress back on. It was a dress that she picked and paid for herself. I just requested the color to be either mauve or wine. And it was definitely not an expensive dress by any means, about $50. And she complained about feeling insecure that her chest was out, but she picked it.
Girl.
After she put it back on, she stormed past everyone to a room by herself where she proceeded to call her husband and complain about how he was treating her, our brief argument in the bathroom. And she refused to look or speak to me, so I decided to be dazed and happily married without a care in the world that she was present. I enjoyed the rest of my night at the brewery, smiling and being genuinely happy with my true best friend, my husband. I can only imagine how pissed she was every time people throughout the brewery clinked their silverware against their glasses for us to kiss. It was beautiful. I'm glad that you were able to have a nice wedding
good time regardless.
in the face of that's not easy to do when someone's actively being a poopy head. Karen stayed silent the rest of the night while I enjoyed spending time with my husband and our son. The next morning, I made breakfast, but Karen didn't come upstairs until 1 p.m. She was probably being annoying. We had agreed to head out as a group and enjoy the day and talked about getting Korean barbecue. And now, me trying to be a good friend, realized she hadn't eaten all day and was likely famished. Can't she just find a way to eat herself? The Airbnb was far from civilization and even further from the Korean barbecue place. Okay, that makes sense. Maybe it was hard to go drive or whatever.
I don't know.
Where we were planning to go was an hour 45 away, so about 20 minutes into our drive, I saw the pub that was next to the grocery store, which she said she needed to go to get more snacks and stuff. So I told Nathan, hey, pull in here. We can grab a quick bite for lunch, hit the grocery store, and then head into town, thinking we could have Korean barbecue for dinner. I was thinking of her trying to get food in her system and the things that she needed from the grocery store. Plus, my son was also hungry, actively asking for food as well. She gets out of the car and starts going off about how she's been treated like a child all weekend, how she has to sit in the backseat like a child, how she isn't asked where she wants to go or what she wants to do or what she wants to eat. She can't even listen to the kind of music she likes. We mostly listen to lo-fi on the drives because it's calming. We often do this, not just particular this weekend. Plus, who doesn't like lo-fi? I mean, lo-fi is fine.
Yeah.
It's definitely not hype.
No.
But it's relaxing.
It's lo-fi.
It's like good music to study to.
Yeah.
Lo-fi beats to study to.
Yeah.
I lost it. I broke and became an unhinged version of myself that I just shouted everything I felt with zero filter in front of the pub. Again, not a good move to do, but understandable with how much she was putting you through.
Yeah.
So I stopped, passed away, stared at her in disbelief and said, are you effing kidding me? I am done. I was literally trying to feed you so you wouldn't become a nasty witch, but here we are. What do you want to sit next to my husband in the front seat? You want to hold his hand too? And you can't listen to the music you like? You literally have both effing headphones in your ears listening to your own effing music off your phone. Get your butt back in the effing car. We're going back to the Airbnb so you can pack up your crap, and we're taking you to the effing airport so you can go home because I am done.
Ooh, you poked the bear and you got the claws.
OP went off.
Dang,
Again,
man.
not a great move.
Justified a-hole here.
But justified a-hole.
Justified
I
a-hole.
mean, this Karen was terrible.
Asking
Also,
for,
but like OP, the planning of this all, like you gotta know this person is
It seems like
terrible.
someone was saying, as a reminder, Karen did kind of force herself onto this trip. And OP and like the people-pleasing nature was like, okay.
Say no. Say no. And also,
you gotta say no.
I'm sure it's quite the show for people all around. While I yelled all of this at her, she started calling her husband saying, see, this is what I've been dealing with. You hear how she's talking to me? It took everything in me not to knock her the F out. I was so enraged. She wouldn't respond to me and eventually got back in the car after we did. She just sat on the phone mostly in silence. My husband and I talked about how crappy and ungrateful she was being the whole weekend, while my son joined in from the back seat saying, "Yeah, you're going to the airport." I was half proud he was defending me and half mortified that he had to endure this ridiculous incident. For the record, he's perfectly healthy, fine, and happy. I never yell like that in front of him. We get back to the Airbnb and she hides in her room until the Uber pulls up 2 hours later. I'm happy to say we had the best time after she left. It was like a breath of fresh air filled the cabin. It was just our little family enjoying the most beautiful time together. It may have been more dramatic than I expected my wedding weekend to be, but I'm glad he's no longer in my life. So after she left, I went downstairs to check things out and make sure she didn't damage anything. She thought putting all the clean towels in the shower and soaking them would upset me.
Oh no, the towels are wet.
That is
Well, what will we
so
do?
petty. Honey, it was literally right next to the washing machine. By the way, you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's a little bit more to the story, and I'm just going to bulldoze right through it. So she also rolled up her dress and threw it in the bathroom trash can and left the chain to the necklace I gave her as a maid of honor gift on top of the trash, with a pendant missing to show she clearly flushed it down the toilet. Like she really thought I cared about a $35 pendant. I'd pay more to get rid of her all over again, but that's just me being cynical at this point. So yeah, we closed on our new home 2 days after Christmas, and we're now living our best life happily ever after with none of the drama. Am I the a-hole? You know, you shouldn't have invited her in the first place. You were too nice in the beginning. She pushed you to the edge. Yes. Should you yell at people? No, it's an a-hole move. Should you yell in front of your kid? No, a-hole move. But do we understand? Yes, I think justified a-hole is where we're going to leave it.
Woo!
But yeah, that is our Karen story.
My friend has a past with my boyfriend, and she won't shut up about it.
Hey, shut up.
Maybe just don't talk about that.
It's so easy to just shut up about it.
Me, 27 female, and my partner, 31 male, of almost 3 years, have a mutual close friend who was the one who introduced us, who is also obsessed with telling everyone how close they are, and is obsessed about their once close relationship. It's gotten to the point where me and my other half are discussing and planning on getting engaged soon, and I don't want this girl to keep living in the past about their friendship. He's chosen me as his best friend now, and she should respect that as my friend. By the way, this comes from user nervousad4918 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So we'll call this friend Alice. Alice has known my other half since they were about 16 and 17 years old. She's 3 years older than me. When they first hung out, my other half hadn't had previous female friends, and they once tried it on with one another and shared a peck on the lips. They realized they were only supposed to stay friends and stayed platonic since.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You tried and you realized that wasn't a spark.
From his point of view, they were once close, but not anymore. He's the kind of guy who, because he's close to his sister, shares lots of close platonic friendships with girls. Alice, however, has had many boyfriends and no male friends other than my other half, who we'll call Jaden. She also only has a sister. She constantly tells everyone, and I mean everyone, all of our friends, strangers, our university lecturers, and work colleagues about how close they are.
That's really weird.
Especially given they didn't date. They just were like, maybe we'll kiss, and they kissed once, and then they were like, no, I guess not.
I want to know the timeline. Was it prior to them kissing? Was she about that? I don't know. Oh, Jade and I are best friends, but then they kissed, or did it? Was it after the kiss?
Theory. The story she's getting from her husband is not the full story, because that makes zero sense to me. That someone could be that infatuated with somebody and had never really had an actual romantic relationship with them.
Maybe it could be. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
She doesn't have any male friends.
We are complicated apes. She would tell people things like how he'd buy her period pads. He would for any female friend. Talk on the phone for hours. She's famously a talker, and you cannot shut her up. She's always the center of attention. That they would cuddle. Now, this is a weird one. He says, sure, he would hug her occasionally, but no more than any of his male friends, etc. But she specifically uses the word cuddle to sound more than platonic. She says stuff like, every time he used to see me, he'd lick my face. This is another strange, out of context fantasy she makes up. He says he barely remembers, but he knows as a teenager he'd wind his mates up when they were intoxicated and lick them, male, female, etc.
Okay, that's a little odd, but at least he did it with everyone.
I mean,
consensually.
Teenagers do dumb stuff.
I have not heard of anyone licking people in the faces to show affection.
I have. But she has literally literally told people like our university tutors this information. She never says he did it to everyone. She exaggerates and makes it seem special to only her.
She's boring. She's a boring person. She has to be a boring person. I'm sorry. She has nothing going on in her life to literally tell everyone and to fluff it up.
Well, for some reason, she's just like fully fixated and attached on this one guy.
It's both of those things. She's fixated on Jaden and their past, whatever that was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But she's also just bored that like she can't move on, and she's telling literal strangers who do not care about this.
Literally people who are like,
she just wants attention.
That's great for you.
She's like, she just wants attention.
I guess that's cool or whatever. Stop talking to me.
She wants attention.
She makes it seem like their play fights as children were only special to them, even though he play fights with everyone. She recently told him she misses that they don't play fight anymore. He was like, well, we're in our 30s, Alice.
Dude.
Perfect response. He play fights with me instead, his best friend and future wife. She's told everyone of our mutual close friends multiple times that they once kissed.
She's so hung up on that, dude.
That
kiss must have been crazy.
This
good.
is like scary behavior. Like it's like so fixated that it's like
I might want to get
scary.
I might want to get a restraining order.
Jade was flabbergasted when I told him she'd mentioned their kiss maybe on 10 different occasions. He had no idea she's so obsessed. She told me all her other boyfriends have had issues with Jaden except her current one.
I wonder why.
Wait, she has a boyfriend?
I wonder why, because you talk about kissing this dude 10 times a day with people who you don't even know.
Yeah. Why are you talking about this guy like that when you have a boyfriend? It's so weird. She's told everyone how they once joked to make a pact to get married if they were single at 30.
I'm running away from this girl.
I actually have a pact like that, but it's not at 30. It's like 50 something.
I have a pact at like 50 something too.
Yeah. But she's mentioned it so often, I think she's partly thought it was true. This will be how she introduces him to new people. We've just started a new course at university, and the girls were mentioning when they think they're getting engaged, including Alice to her boyfriend. And I said, oh, can I tell you guys something cute? Me and Jaden went looking for rings the other day in town. She immediately launches into telling these new girls about her and Jaden's close relationship. She never gives me a chance to introduce my boyfriend to the people because they've already heard about him through her. But for her boyfriend, she's been with for 3+ years.
Yo, that's weird. This is weird. I would bring this up. I don't know why no one has stopped her.
What?
Why is everyone letting her, like, especially OP and Jaden? Jaden should be the one to stop.
You need to press the issue.
Yeah, I would be very bothered if I heard this on repeat daily.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically like harassment.
It is
a form of harassment.
Like, why are you talking about him so much? Like, your obsession with him is really weird.
And they're lies.
Go be obsessed with your boyfriend of 3+ years.
Yeah, this is wild. But for her boyfriend, she's been with for 3+ years, she introduces him as her scientist boyfriend, who's a doctor and is the CEO of his own company. A big difference from my best friend, who's a boy who used to lick my face, and is dating OP. It comes across as disrespectful because people are always weirded out. So you've got like a trophy husband, or you've got a trophy boyfriend, and the real love of your life that you kissed once when you were 17 is getting married, and you don't know how to cope with it.
Seems like.
Comment and let me know if I hit the nail on the head with that in the comments. It comes across as disrespectful because people are always weirded out. Most of my family and friends agree that it seems like Alice basically acts like she wants to keep Jaden around forever as some kind of backup option. She's confused about things. She calls time they spend hanging out together, which is very rare anymore, Alice and Jaden time is what she calls it, as if it's some cutesy thing. Me and my male best friend, let's call him Tim, are so platonic there's absolutely no cutesy language in our friendship. She forever lives in a universe where they're like 20 years old again and close pals, but these days he doesn't wish to hang out with her. He thinks they've naturally grown apart anyway, regardless of the fact that he's with me. He criticizes her actions a lot to me as they've grown into very different people. For example, he's a cop and she uses a lot of illegal substances and expresses very little interest in sustaining much of a friendship.
Then why doesn't he say that to her?
Yeah, that's the final piece of the puzzle here is why isn't Jaden taking more of an active role in making this stop?
Why isn't OP taking initiative? Obviously Jaden taking, like I said it earlier, but why is no one stopping her from doing this?
Just with like a direct, like you don't even have to do it in person, just reach out to her over through text or a phone call, whatever, but reach out to her and be like, hey, all this talk about us needs to stop.
Immediately.
Plain and simple. Don't make it any more complicated than that.
Yeah.
You need to stop saying these things that aren't true. done.
Easy.
When we were first dating for about the first 6 months maybe, she'd say things to me that made me almost break up with him. She once told me that she found him attractive since he started working out and grown a beard. She told me she's always going to have love for him, and bear in mind, she's the kind of girl who always gets what she wants. Huge pretty privilege issue going on here, overconfident, etc. She used to say things like, we'd never work out, J and A, because he wants kids and I don't. And we wouldn't have worked out because he's unsure about marriage and I want to. So she's just like telling her friend like, yeah, you guys wouldn't work. Actually, we're perfect for each other. Like, you guys definitely wouldn't work. I used to say, well, surely there's 100 reasons you'd never date someone you also say is like a brother, right, Alice? But she never comes up with any. The thought of dating my male best mate makes me throw up a little in my mouth. And Tim would find that hilarious as a mutual thought. My other uni friends once addressed me and said they were confused with who's dating who because Alice seems to mention Jaden all the time. They had no idea her actual boyfriend even existed. Her own boyfriend even joked the other day about her constantly mentioning Jaden's name. Boyfriend, what are you doing?
I feel like everyone here is like, this is weird. Why does she keep bringing up Jaden? And no one's asking her. Like, everyone's saying it around her, but no one's bringing it up to her.
Nobody is pressing the issue here.
Yeah.
I never previously mentioned anything to her as I didn't want to upset the apple cart, but it's been 5 years of hearing her talk about him. And since we're about to start work together and on a new university course where she's already started mentioning him again, it's like the final straw that broke the camel's back. I'm sick of him being quote unquote hers. As his almost fiance, I should come first. She knew him a while ago, fair. I respect their past friendship, but he's not 17 anymore. He's almost 32.
17, 32. 55, 90, 100.
We don't care.
We don't care.
We just want you here in our stream when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, on TikTok. Just tap our profile and you're in.
Hey, we might even be live right now.
It's true.
But we need to make sure we let Alice know, and hopefully Alice does know, to just leave Jaden's name out of her freaking mouth.
Yeah, I think it's clear that this is not a, at first maybe you brush it off, but if it's something that's been going on for multiple years and it's just gone completely unaddressed, it's like something needs to be said. If there are people in your environment, right, that are
questioning everything.
Well, this person, I assume, is like a friend to some extent.
Okay.
Or else she wouldn't be around her for 5 years. And they're starting a university course.
Guess what?
So if you have problems with something your friend's doing, you have to let them know.
If you're friends with them, you could tell them. If you're strangers, the fact that she's telling strangers, it's nonsense.
There's something.
It's just everyone around her, including OP, is enabling it.
And if it's not a case where she's like actually secretly wants to be, steal your man, she should be like, oh, okay, well, I'll try my best to change the way I speak, because that's all it is.
No, I guarantee if you
she talks cutesy about him and says all this stuff and all that. If you have to speak it though.
But guess what?
Say it.
Guess what? If you bring it up now, it's 15 years. Yeah, 15 years or whatever of her just doing this over and over and over again. If you tell it to her right now, she's gonna be like, "No, what are you talking about?"
Nah, I mean, but you have to. This whole story, I think,
it
needs to be. I hope that the end of this story is Alice being pressed on this issue.
The fact that nobody has told her,
you need to change the way you talk.
I don't
about
understand
my almost fiance.
Yeah. Let's find out. I really need to find out because at this point, I don't think Alice is the bad guy particularly or the a-hole.
No, I don't think she's done anything egregiously wrong. But
she's just doing weird stuff and she just keeps talking about Jaden and no one is stopping her from talking about Jaden.
Yeah, it's just kind of cringy.
Yeah.
It's cringy and uncomfortable. Now, after this rant, I'm basically after advice. Me and my partner want to address this with her. He thinks her behavior is so weird and it's off-putting to him thinking of ever being mates with her again, which is tricky when we want to have a wedding. Me and Alice get along very well when Jaden is out of the question. We work in the same place in all of the same classes at university. I don't want to cause a huge upset, but how do I make her see that his behavior towards her has never been anything special and she needs to understand that? She's deluding herself that there's this special connection anymore. He calls other girls his best friend, girls who she can't stand. I, however, love them. They're lovely and never make it awkward. They have brothers and you can tell they know what platonic friendship is. So,
wow.
You ask, How do we talk to her about this? Well, I think the person who needs to talk about this is not you.
Jaden.
It's Jaden.
It's because it's only about Jaden.
I mean, it impacts both of you, but the root of the problem is that
Jaden,
her internalized dynamic with Jaden is like not placed in reality, it sounds like.
Yep. It's just very obvious. And the fact that he's like, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. This is, I'm just, the friendship is not even there. But she keeps talking about it like it is. Someone needs to stop, at least point it out to her like, hey, this is not okay.
And I don't even think you need to do a thing where it's like you blast her and say it's like, well, you were never special to him, because that's just going to make her get defensive. I think you got to put the kid gloves on and you got to be real gentle and, just let her know, hey, even though we did have a close friendship, right? That's in the past, and you're continuing your nonstop bringing it up is putting a strain on us, and and some of the people around us get confused. It's just a weird.
It's uncomfortable. It makes everyone uncomfortable. Yeah, when you keep bringing it up 10 times a day.
So you very calmly, coolly explain that you're uncomfortable, and if she doesn't take that well, then that's not something it's not a person you even want to have in your life, because she's not respecting your boundaries.
I don't know. Again, this is definitely on Jaden. He should take initiative, especially with. I mean, I've repeated it so many times now. It's just do it.
Well, you know what? I think one thing we're forgetting here is that Jaden's not even really that close with her anymore. So maybe the best thing to do might be to go together. Maybe to have this conversation as a group.
I agree.
Maybe have Jaden take point on it, but just be there, since you're probably a better support for Alice. If your goal is to not have a big fallout here, right? You're gonna want to be able to let her down gently as much as you can. So seeing as Jaden's not really a friend with her, you might want to be there to help out. But that's my advice, and that's also the end of this story.
Oh wow!
And the end of this episode.
Oh wow!
So if you love us, make sure you subscribe.
We love you,
and see you tomorrow.